so are you at Murder Brian? And I was like, no, I'm not. I was like, that's my partner I do the show with.
Did I tell you? Oh, yeah, I said that to you.
What?
When the video went live and that dude sent me the thing and was like, oh, I did not need to see what Brett looked like.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I was like, you just hate to see it, really.
Didn't he say I was hoping he was ugly or something?
Everybody does. Well, everybody hopes everybody's ugly, is the thing. You know what I mean? Like, our default is like, I hope this guy's ugly. And then you see him, you're like, well, damn it. He's good looking. God, I can't believe there's another video that's going to come out.
Oh, what?
And there's another
memes
video that's going to come out. And that one gave us a big bump, man. I fucking hope Alex can get this art. She wants to get it approved by Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
But she's shooting for mainstream publications. That's why she might not be able to do it. I'm sure she could write about us in Jacobin or something, but she wants to do it. And I mean, all these motherfuckers want us to be famous as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, the unsaid thing is they want us to be more famous than Java. But I mean, that's the vibe I always get. You know what I mean? Because they'll say it like, these guys should be more famous. And it's like, oh, yeah? Then who? Who's
right. What's your measuring stick? Oh, I gotta go turn that damn heat off.
Man, we are like really. I mean, I think we are second place at this point. Which feels nice in the world.
Yes, we do have to do that.
What's the number?
If you'd like to make a call.
818-794-7005.
Thank you for calling Call-In Studios host and call screener line. Please enter your show number and press pound.
2023 pounds, yeah.
Enter your 6-digit PIN number.
419244.
Welcome, host. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the Call-In Studio web interface.
Alright, we're in.
Oh. Ready? Let's go live. It's 9.
Is it?
Yup.
Oh my god.
901. You ready? I'm going. I'm hitting the music.
Hey everybody, welcome to Street Fight Radio. Hope you're having a good time. It's cold as fuck in Ohio, miserable as hell. We're doing our 4th winter here. It snowed a little bit, but we are taking your calls tonight without any technical difficulties so far. Easy breezy setup. The number to dial is 614-655-3887. We'll be here until midnight answering questions about small business tyranny, your DARE officer, and what other forms of praxis you can find in the world out there, whether that is stealing from the self-checkout or just taking off supplies from work. My name is Brett Payne. My co-host is Brian Quinby. We're Street Fight Radio, the #1 anarcho-comedy radio show in any station across the nation. We do this every single week, 2 times a week, and you can watch us on the live stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. That's the one I was missing. Find us on there. Username is Street Fight WCRS on everything except for Twitch. We're Street Fight Radio. And chat with us. There's a unified chat, so everyone gets to talk together. It's pretty fucking fun. Oh, they're saying there's an audio issue.
That might be because the headphones are next to the mic. Let's wait till the theme song's over
Got it.
and then see what happens.
That makes sense.
How's that sound?
Sure. Sorry to interrupt. Just making sure those chat people are in there, keeping us honest about our audio issues here. If you want more Street Fight Radio, you want to support what we do, I recommend you head over to patreon.com where you can listen to our recent bonus show. Brian talked to Connor Golden. We just did the White Castle episode of Undercover Business Tyrants. And then what else is going on over there? I've been sharing some stuff I like. High Five Fridays, what I call it. I've been doing this, like just 5 neat things, movies or books or podcasts I listen to as suggestions. So head over to Patreon and sign up for that if you want more info about the show. And then the best way to support us is to come and just hang out with us when we do live show in your town. We're going to be in Philadelphia on Wednesday, April 3rd. We're going to be in New York City on April 6th and 7th. And then Providence, Rhode Island on April 9th, and Boston, Massachusetts on April 12th. So come out, hang, watch a show. You can find all of that at streetfightradio.com. All right.
Hey, can you guys hear me? I don't know if they can hear me.
They should be able to hear you.
Yep.
I am getting messages that say they can barely hear me, and it says all good now. So I think we're all good.
Yeah, it looks good to me.
All right. What's up, Brad? How are you?
All right. Pretty bummed about today, but making it through.
What happened today?
It was 36 degrees out.
You know what, man? We should get used to it because we're going to the Northeast. Actually, it's supposed to be nice out there. Not as warm as here, where it's going to be 65 every day. But we're gonna fucking live, and it's gonna work. Okay?
I believe you.
Beautiful.
I know. I mean, we're closer to spring than further away from it, but just seeing snow again today really took the wind out of my sails.
Yeah, I took a fucking long walk and hated it because it was supposed to be warm. It's not supposed to, it's just, I'm not going to go into a bunch of weather talk here, but
Sure.
Once it's warm for a couple days, it should be illegal for it to change back.
I agree.
I guess.
They should do some, weather manipulation, maybe.
They never do. HARP never happens.
They don't do it to help us out.
No.
They just do it to,
start a hurricane.
to take away all of our fun electronics because of the Green New Deal.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm sore because I went bowling on Friday night. I bowled 4 games. And nothing has made me feel old like being really sore for 2 days from bowling.
Impromptu physical activity will do that to you.
Yeah. Stupid.
You're like, ooh, I'm behind. I'm way behind.
Well, it's like, how is my hip hurting that bad? Like, now I sit down and I have hard time sitting up, and it's like, that's so fucking embarrassing, man. Like, it just, when you're getting up and you're like, it sucks. I can't wait to get to Philly. That is a city I really loved the first time we went. Who knows what they've done to the place since we left, and we're going to be staying in some part of town that's probably not as fun as where we stayed before. So
yeah, Philly had one of the best tourist attractions we've ever seen, which was a vending machine that was painted all black, but was definitely plugged in and took money.
Yeah, I don't think it gave anything.
You weren't going to get anything. It was just it was a taking machine. It wasn't a vending machine. It was a taking machine.
Right. Yeah. Conrad John in the chat says, once I switch to shorts, I shouldn't have to switch back to longs. Buddy, I have a new concept for you. They're called long shorts. You can just wear them any day. It doesn't matter. Sure, your shins get a little cold, but they're very fashionable and they're very good looking. And I only have one pair right now. I am still looking for them, so we'll see. I haven't been able to find them yet, but long shorts, baby, long shorts. That's the 2019 mantra for this show, for me as a person. Long fucking shorts.
Do you do high socks with them?
No. I was just thinking about that today, though, when I went to look at how to fold socks for travel, and because I'm trying to travel compact this time. Like, I don't want to bring a suitcase is what I'm shooting for.
Right.
I'm shooting for one bag, which is like a bag my wife carries everywhere, and then my backpack. That's it. That's all I want.
Wow.
So I learned how to fold socks today, and all the socks fucking people were folding were like those ankle socks. And I was like, buddy, I wear the long boys. I cannot.
Oh, really?
I have to wear tall socks. The small ones.
You scrunch them, though. You wear scrunchy socks.
Right. That's because the long one, I would never pull them all the way up. But I like the look of the long ones scrunched down. That's just the style for me. I don't like it the other way. Looks silly to me. Those little ones, they feel like they're going to slide down my shoe the whole day. I feel uncomfortable with them. Never been a guy that wore small socks. So.
Yeah, I like minimal socks. If I could just get something that would like put a cap over my toes and then had like a heel strap on it, then I think I would be fine with that.
Ugh, not this guy. This guy needs a nice long pair of socks.
Like just tubes, just like 18-inch long socks.
Yeah. I'm almost packed though. Which is a
That's
real
impressive.
crazy thing, yeah. I don't ever pack early because I don't want to not have my shit, dude. It's like a lot of people when they travel, they get all ready for it early. I'm kind of like, oh man, I pack at midnight the night before.
Yeah. I don't have travel versions of my stuff. I just have my stuff.
Yeah, I want access to all my clothes too. I don't want to have to I had to put clothes aside today to wear. I'm not happy with them already. I'm already not happy with the clothes I put aside to wear on Monday and Tuesday.
Oh. Why? Did you went the D-level stuff?
I did, with the shirts. I went D-level shirts, and then I went A+ level pants.
Who's going to see you?
Truckers.
Really?
Mostly truckers.
They're going to look in there?
Well, I mean,
you're talking. Oh, yeah, you're going to be on live. You're going to be on live stream in a D-level T-shirt.
No, I'm not. Okay. I shouldn't be.
What if we do a live stream?
On the road?
Yeah.
Well,
it can happen. I might
ready
bust
to
out
see. I'm either wearing a.
You're gonna wear the what? Homer Simpson as
no, I have an
Tony
Adidas,
Soprano.
Adidas D-level T-shirt that just is the big flower that says
Trefoil.
Adidas. Yeah. And then this isn't supposed to be a D-level shirt. It just got downvoted because I got so many better shirts. But it's a socialism shirt that I have. It's like got a big flower and says like Socialismo Libertad and something. But it was like a really nice shirt. It's just a shirt that I've had for a long time. I can't wear it on stage or anything. That's all it is. And that's why it's a D level.
I love those. There's some clothes that I wear the hell out of because they were given to me for free. And so I don't feel like I want to keep them nice or anything, So I some of the shit I wear the most.
Yeah.
Is just something that someone gave me for free that I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this thing.
Oh, I'm heavy on the free shirts on this tour for sure. Thursday shirt that I got for free. Yeah. Shirt I got for my birthday.
I look so good in that Thursday shirt.
Free shit, baby.
Yeah.
Before we get to calls, I think another thing we need to bring up is Means TV shared a video that me and Brett made, I think in December, maybe?
Yeah, it was December.
And came out a lot better than we thought it was going to come out. I mean, I don't remember what we thought when we left that place, but Nick really got something out of us. The only behind-the-scenes story I can tell you is that big white background that we were standing on had like it was like a floor. It was where they filmed car commercials. So it was like a garage room, and the white background went all the way up the wall and then kind of curved down to the ground.
So there was no corner. It was so that you could take video and there would be no shadow of a corner behind you at all. So the corner was kind of filled in. Imagine taking like a bunch of spackle and then just piling it up until you had a smooth round corner, kind of like a skate park.
And he immediately had to tell me and Brett not to run up the...
And I did run up it.
Yeah, well, we were both on the way.
I ran sideways on the wall, and he was like, don't do that. And then when he told me afterwards, he was like, dude, that's just like plaster. That's not made to hold people. You probably would have you would have went through that in most other cases. I was like,
would have looked cool as shit though. You're a light guy, you know.
Yeah,
light on your feet.
I'm light on my feet. Yeah.
We used to run up the wall when I was a kid, right? When I was a teenager, we'd start at the back and then we'd go running straight towards the wall, and then jump up and take some steps across the wall and then down. That was kind of early parkour, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I remember
parkour.
that.
I'm a parkour guy. If,
No,
if I see some parkour type shit, I'm going to try it, even though I'm a fat guy that has no coordination. I'm going to still try it.
If you got really good at it, you would be entertaining. Follow on Instagram.
I should. I mean, I think it's cool.
Instagram.
I think it's cool, but I look like an idiot
No.
every time I jump or anything. And just the pain. It's just the ankles.
Yeah, I mean,
don't feel like it can catch a jump anymore.
Sure.
It used to be. I like to go swing on swings. Sometimes during the summer at the park. Not anymore because my kid's 14. She doesn't go to the park anymore. But back in the day, I would swing on the swings and I would get up so high and be like, I used to jump from this height. I used to just come flying off that thing from this height and land and be just fine. And if I did that now, I'd have to go to the hospital when I was done. So I don't do that anymore. But it was fun. Oh, good echo.
It says it's gone.
It's already gone? Okay. Well, the echo's gone. So
we're just giving a little taste of what you love, because they're now all the echo people are tuning in twice as hard, hoping for the next one to show up.
What's the echo, man? Why does the echo happen?
I don't know.
There's nothing here to cause the echo anymore.
Hello.
It's not doing it.
Is there anybody in there?
I'm gonna Blue Yeti, the company. Fucking sucks. Fuck them. That's where the echo comes from. Is those motherfuckers.
You don't know what you're talking about at all.
Okay. Okay. I lifted my arm and it stopped. Okay. Well, I'm just yelling at Blue anyway because I feel like
you can. It's fine. Sorry.
I am not going to do a show. We don't know what we're doing with Means TV. We did those two things, and then whenever he calls us, we'll do stuff, right? Like, that kind of the relationship is that Nick knows us. He knows he can get a hold of us, and, we'll do shit with him.
Well, he already has.
It all depends.
He already has a lot of stuff, too. So he has the show that we did with Kath and Rachel in March of last year in New York City. Mm-hmm. He has that whole thing.
Damn, that was a good show.
Yeah, and that'll be on the Means TV thing, like when it launches, if they can raise the money for it.
Yeah. We got to donate the money, and then if they raise the money for it, me and Brett will probably be all over that fucking thing.
Yeah, that's the plan.
A couple of big boys just doing video content.
And he wants to make one of our most important videos that we could ever make happen.
Yeah?
Yeah, he thinks he can do it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's make an important video happen.
Yeah.
I
don't want to give out the idea.
Yeah, we're giving that idea out. Does it involve kids?
That's giving away the idea.
That's not the whole idea. They don't know the rest of it.
It does involve kids.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. That video is good. GOOD. Well, you ready to risk it and get on these phones and see what's going on? We got some calls?
Yeah, there's some people that want to talk, I think.
Oh, somebody needs help buying weed in Columbus.
Okay.
Okay, this is not the place to check in. Well, I mean, it's kind of.
Well, the chat can take
care
of
that. We're leaving.
The chat can take care of that.
There's nothing happening in Columbus for the next 2 weeks. Me and Brett are out.
Oh, shit, I'm the first one.
Yeah, thanks for calling Street Fight Radio. How's it going?
Hello.
He just... I thought he fell backwards down a flight of stairs.
That's probably either that or down a never-ending hole.
Right.
One of those holes where you just fall forever, which doesn't even sound that bad to me.
Well, it would just be excruciatingly boring eventually.
Right, it would get boring, but you could kind of build your life around
it. You could adapt. You're right. You could adapt. Some other shit might fly by that you can make use of.
Yeah. Somebody says the audio on the call.
So can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you perfect.
I'm getting a little feedback on your end, actually.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, maybe that's just inevitable. Alright, so I got a quick story. I took about a half tab of acid around 3 p.m. today.
Nice.
So, I was just really feeling good. I went for a walk around town, and I saw this guy that I knew from from high school, and the way I would describe him is, no matter what, if you were going to see someone walking around waving a shotgun on the street, definitely him. Now, he happened to be a cop, but it holds true either way. So I take out the first thing you do, Facebook Live, start it up, come in closer, and he points it at a skunk, pans the whole fence and the people, and then I just totally lost it, and I laughed, and I walked right
that's
a half a block down, and then I heard like the pop, and I guess he shot it. I didn't want to watch, but
He shot the damn skunk right in front of you?
no. He said after he walked away.
in front of like a bunch of people.
Yeah, that's
there was
what a
just crowd
shithead.
gathered.
Who does that?
Who cares?
That I knew from, he rolled out of the SUV, grabbed his shotgun from the trunk, and ran into this building. I thought,
Is he a cop?
who knew what was going to happen.
Did you say he was a
He
cop?
was actually after a skunk the whole time.
He's not a cop. This was a citizen.
No, he's a cop.
Okay.
A cop fucking jumped out of his car and shot a goddamn skunk.
Yeah, that's terrible news.
This guy's on acid.
Well, yeah, he knows that.
What's going on? I don't know.
Yeah, no.
You probably thought the cop was coming to shoot
how
you,
did-
didn't you?
Well, at least you got laughter out of it. I'm glad it went that direction.
I would have fucking freaked out.
I hate when there's weapons out and I'm tripping. I just can't be around it.
You can't do it high. Remember the time when you were high and really the time you were high and that guy was swinging an axe around. You're like, we got to get out of this house, and I didn't even feel any danger at all. I was fine.
Yeah, I don't like it when people play with swords and shit around me.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
An axe. I'm thinking about buying a knife.
Okay.
So that's a thing for later. This guy told us a cool story, and now I'm making it about me buying a knife.
No, I just wanted to get it all out. It was such a strange experience.
Yeah, that's
and I realized it was
outrageous.
street fight night, so
That's so perfect.
there you go, folks.
How weird did you feel? Did you get kind of like did you like feel like running away or anything, or did you just laugh and you were like fine?
Well, I thought maybe someone was going to get shot, so I took out my phone and tried to take a video, but ultimately it ended up pointing at a skunk. So
Well, before we hang up, I want to tell you.
fine.
Before we hang up, I want to tell you you're very brave. You're tripping on acid, and you were doing the film The Cops routine. That could have gone pretty sideways, and you did it anyway. That is like a real brave move. That's like a troop level bravery move. You should get free food at Golden Corral for what you did today.
Yeah, and also fuck that kid you know from high school that's a cop. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck him too,
Out there
man.
just, killing skunks.
Yeah.
What is the point in killing a fucking skunk? Hey, can I ask you something? Like, what kind of neighborhood do you live in? You like a suburbs, like housing development? You in the city? Or are you in like a rural area?
It's like a little downtown, like a small town actually.
Motherfucker is shooting bullets in a city, Brett.
Yeah, I don't know where that doesn't make any
cops.
sense to me at all to do
Just
that.
let the skunk go. I love the smell of skunk. It don't even bother me. I hear it burns when it gets on you, but you walk through it and it's like, this is a great smell. This reminds me of something is what I always think when I smell it.
Yep.
Well, thanks for calling in, buddy. Have a good rest of your trip.
Yeah, you too. Good night, guys.
Oh, I wish I was tripping. I'm actually just doing a podcast.
Yeah. Shout out to that guy. Official member of the Psychonauts Union.
That's pretty funny though, right?
It's I know the feeling, and it's so cool when you do that stuff because it does put you in the realm of new possibilities, and you never know what's gonna happen. And chasing that feeling, just like, oh shit, something serious is about to happen. I should record the police. And it's like, no, you should run. If you're on the acid, get away from the cops. Run.
Just go away.
Don't-
I've talked to people who've ended up in jail
By talking
in mid-trip. And most of them have always said it ended up being like, I'm fine.
Sure.
You know, I ended up having fun in jail.
Right.
I don't know if my brain works that way. I don't think, like, I would be able to do that because I'm, like, a dark-minded human being, you know?
Yeah.
But I'll bet you would be fine. I don't want you to go
I
to
would
jail.
make the most of it,
Yeah,
but I'm not one of the. I wouldn't think it would be funny for it to happen to me at all. No, I wouldn't think that would be like a good story. No. I would make the most of it, but hell no, I'm not interested in it.
Acid lasts just too long. It needs to be shortened up by modern medicine. Could shorten that trip up a decent amount, because it is like so many people have been stuck doing things tripping.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
There needs to be an antidote, I
Right,
think.
right.
Like that, like a
That makes
Narcan
sense.
for acid.
Yeah, something that pulls you out of psychedelics.
Yeah, where you can just be like, oh, well, I'm normal.
All right,
dude.
well, I guess I'm gonna start planning for that funeral.
It's like when I had to go deal with, I had this girlfriend in high school, and we didn't sit together at lunch, right? She sat at a table with girls, and I sat at a table with boys, because that's just what you did in my day. It's not like, this isn't like old school. This is just like boys will be boys, girls will be girls sort of thing. You know what I mean? And this was 1995. And one of her friends came over to me, and she was like, hey, you need to go over there and take care of your girlfriend took acid this morning, and she's having a weird fucking lunch in school day. So I had to goddamn sneak her out of school that day and
well, that's nice.
like, handle it. Well,
at least you were useful.
Barely. All of her friends were like fucking it up though. Her friends were like sitting there like, you're gonna get in so much trouble. If they find out
they're good
you're
friends.
acting weird, you're going to get in so much fucking trouble for this. It's ridiculous that you made that choice. I'll never
That's
forget.
what your friends are supposed to do.
There was a day when I was in high school where one of my friends and Jason were tripping, and they got in trouble, and they made them sit at a lunch table by themselves. A long one like the one me and you were at, on each side, the same way me and you are. And they were just over there fucking cutting it up and having the best time of their lives, man. And we're just throwing food back and forth at each other. And that was a time tripping turned out okay.
Right.
You know? But I've seen it go other ways.
For sure.
Let's get a
let's
call,
see
man.
who's next. See if
I hope the phones work. Please, phones just work.
Hello, thanks for calling Street Fight Radio. How's it going?
What's up?
Oh, great. How's it sound? How do we sound to you? Handsome?
You sound like you're on the phone. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, what's going
We are on
tonight?
the phone.
Well, handsome though too, right?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Thank you. I like to be told I'm handsome. That's just kind of a thing I do. What's going on tonight? Who's this?
This is Jeff Wood.
Jeff Word. Well, what's going on tonight? What do you got going on?
Oh, so I did jury research yesterday, and it was fascinating.
What kind of research?
Jury research?
Jury research. I thought you said Jerry research, and I was like, "Who's Jerry?
Okay.
What are we looking into?"
Is the audio quality garbled? I can move to my phone.
It is garbling again. Try. Let's see if your phone works.
Oh, hang on.
It's garbling, right?
It sounds.
Is it better?
It's not, but I don't know. Try talking one more time here.
Say what?
Ah, it's garbled. What's going on?
I don't know.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, God.
It was working so
Did I break
great.
everything?
I can hear you. We can hear you. What's up?
Oh, I did, jury research. It was crazy.
What is it?
I got paid, like, way more than a jury to, like, be a fake jury.
Oh, okay. And are you allowed to talk about it, or is there like an NDA thing here?
I gotta be really vague, yeah.
Was it murder? Can I ask you if it was murder?
Oh, no, it was a corporate thing. Whether or not that corporation was at fault for an environmental situation.
Oh, okay. And what was it like? I mean, was it fun at all?
It was interesting. Like, the lawyers were all very present. Like, we got, like, the real lawyers, so they were all very intense.
Did it look like a movie?
It was, like, such a fucking pit of bootlickers. It was crazy.
I can't imagine being in a jury, because it is, like, all normal people you're sitting there with. Like, and you're a fucking weirdo.
you know? Not
Yeah.
you personally, but I imagine if you listen to this show, you're kind of a fucking weirdo and you have to go sit down in a room full of normal people. And like your whole, I mean, well, if it's a corporation, I guess, it's like your whole thing is just like, fuck it, I don't care, you know? But if it's like a crime thing, it seems so hard to me to like convict somebody. If it was just for me, I would have like the hardest time convicting somebody.
Yeah. Wait, well, okay, I gotta be careful how I say this. Yeah, the corporation, like, yeah, I was fine with that. An individual, it got dicier. But, like, just the fucking people on the jury, like, oh my god, I don't understand how anybody has a fair trial. They were so not paying attention.
Yeah, but no, hell no. I mean, could you imagine paying attention to, like, intently to all of that? Like, I couldn't do it. I wouldn't be interested in, especially you're talking about a corporate case. We're talking about a corporate case here. Fuck that. Could you imagine? Just they're in there talking about like, you're only allowed to have this much percent. You're only allowed to dump this much percent of bleach in the ocean or in the local water supply before it's poison or whatever. I always just assume all corporate like earth trial things are just basically people like try to dump shit in the ocean.
Yeah, it was basically like that, but everybody was like, oh, I don't know. I mean, they tried their best. I feel bad. I don't want to charge them with anything.
Oh, that's really weird. Yeah, I imagine they took you through the law and like agreements and like what the contracts were and everything to try to tell everybody, you know, to kind of massage everybody to see it from their side. That they felt within the rules of their contract or whatever. It is funny that like a corporation's defense is like, we tried. Yeah. Because that's probably all they could do. Or we did enough on paper that's required by law. Yeah,
exactly. That was the argument. It was like, we did everything that was on paper. I don't know what you want.
Yeah. How well were you paid for that, and how'd you get involved with that?
Oh, I got $300 for 8 hours of work.
Fuck.
So it was just randomly popped up on my Facebook. Okay.
I need to be on the lookout for that. I'll do $300. I can send you some companies.
Yeah, no kidding.
Really? Yeah.
I mean, I have clicked on like survey, like Amazon Reddit survey stuff, and then I did like a medical research. So I guess probably it's like a feedback loop.
Yeah, doing some Brett Paints. Oh, you did medical research, huh? How was that?
Yeah, I did.
How is it?
Well, I got canceled like halfway into my study, but I still made a couple hundo out of it.
Nice. Yeah, they still pay you if they tell you to go. I want to do that so bad. Well, hey, thanks for calling in. I'm going to try to do this now.
Yeah, I advise, yes.
And
Jeff, it was worth it.
Jeff Wood has been the one making all the memes that we've been sharing. Thank you, Jeff Wood. I thought it was Jeff Word. That's a good name, too.
No worries.
You're the best at memes, Jeff Wood. Have a good.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Have a good night, Jeff Wood. Why?
You too.
Now he's great. It sounds great now. Yeah, it's so hard to know. What do the people in the chat say? He got it. I think he's got it. Because it sounded great at the end. I have done this before. I can tell you the companies that do this kind of thing. You into it? I loved it. It was exhilarating because the people, you are in there with regular people, and we were doing this case about someone that got killed. I'm worried about it too. I don't want to get fucking sued. Can I just say this? Like, you're doing these things that are slightly politically charged, maybe a little bit, and you're dealing with normal people, and their opinions on politically charged things. You know, well, it was Well, and that was the thing is that like this, I'm down for this, but. So it was in regards to wrongful death and whether someone was responsible for their death or whether there was a malfunction of something on the side of the road that caused their death. Basically, was the barrier responsible for their death, and had it been installed in a different way, would something different had happened? Right on. If it would have been made out of rubber bands, it probably wouldn't have killed them. That's my guess. So this was like, we're just settling in. They explained the whole thing from the beginning. And the whole thing through, and they're like, this is gonna be 2 or 3 hours of studying. We're like 7 minutes in, and this lady goes, sounds like the damn government's the one that did all this. And I was like, oh man. And then I saw this woman like just roll her eyes, like her eyes were just like flipped backwards, and she was just like, oh my God, how long are we gonna be here? And then the test lady just started what makes you say that? And then she just started coming up with all these wild hearsay stories around town and shit that she started telling. It was wild.
I got to do this.
It's worth it.
It sounds fun. You can pay $300 for like 8 hours. Like I'm sitting around with weirdos.
Mine was just 3 hours, and they always give you food and snacks, and I think it was $150.
And it was just a bunch of weirdos you're sitting with?
It's like a group of 12 jurors, man, and it is like people that, I mean, just you never get to interact with in any other part of your life, and you never get to hear them talk at length about this kind of stuff. And like he said, the bootleg, like people are like, this corporation dumped battery acid directly into this fucking mountain, and they're like, I feel bad punishing them for it though, because they really care, I think they really care. And it's like, where are you getting this from? They had a chance to care.
Because somebody feels bad, because they see the representative of the company.
Sure. It's probably
and the representative of the company's feeling bad.
Yeah.
That person didn't do it. And it's like, I work for a company that dumps battery acid in the ocean.
Yeah.
But I don't want to dump the battery. But fuck, I'd rather put the battery acid almost anywhere else. I'd rather pour it down a fucking never-ending hole.
Right. For sure.
That's where I want to put the goddamn battery acid.
I suggested space, anything but the ocean. But, I'm paid to put it in the ocean.
Dude, I don't want them. It already's bad up there, right? Space. I just recently saw a picture on top of Mount Everest and saw the trash up there.
You haven't seen that before?
Oh, and it just fucking bummed me out to the point where I'm like, I know there's a bunch of trash up in space, but it's not like... It's like satellite trash, and like space program trash, which is like okay, whatever. That like less trash. But damn, the day they figure out how to launch trash into space,
there's probably a shitload of like astronaut ice cream bags though that are like floating in outer space. Like those fuckers don't care. They're just throwing them out there on a spacewalk, just
rolling down a window, tossing it.
Fuck it.
I seeing all that trash, it was like everywhere we go, we just leave a bunch of fucking trash. We're just like a fucking trash species.
Yeah, man, it's natural.
Yeah, it's natural. It's just like deer do it
what
too.
We do, yeah.
Deer will
what
just
we
leave.
do. We create toxic waste.
Deer leaves tents everywhere that they go and sleep. Like
right.
Fucking bunch of tents on top of Everest. Like I always thought the people that climbed Everest cared about nature.
Yeah, somebody should clean that up.
Yeah, like the motherfuckers who messed it up.
Like you did it, yeah. Like you go, where's your tent? Why do you mean you came down here without a tent?
You come up there with a tent and you leave without a tent, then you should fucking get the death
That's supposed
penalty.
to be the camping rules, though, is leave the site better than you found it.
I know. That's why I think they should get the death penalty if they come down without a tent.
Oof, wow, tough.
I know, but they're killing the planet,
Let's
Brett.
see who's on
the please, Lord, let the phone work on this call, please. I'm begging you from the bottom of my heart.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up? Who's this?
Hey, I'm from Columbus, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about my time working at the Netflix warehouse. It was in Grove City.
Wow.
So
yeah. I wanted that job for a while.
I did too. That's all I wanted.
When it first came to town, I was like, maybe I'll go get me a nice, honest living at the Netflix warehouse.
Well, here's the thing. I wanted to work at Blockbuster from the day I turned 16. Like,
Okay.
just immediately the day I turned 16, I'm applying at Blockbuster, and they're like, well, one, you're too ratty-ass looking.
Right.
And two, you have a rude voice, so we can't hire you.
Okay.
but then when
you look like you can't keep up with subtitles.
But I had a good job when Netflix kicked off, so there was almost like
no reason.
How much did you start out at? Is the first question I want to ask.
Well, it was actually pretty competitive for the day. It was like $12 an hour.
See, that's not bad. That's why I wanted it.
Yeah, I mean it's less than I was making at the time, but I'll say this: it's probably a nice $12 an hour. Like, not was it hard? Like, so what did a day look like? Can I ask what a day looked like?
Yeah, I'll try to break it down because here's what's funny is I was working like the back end when they were still very much based in physical DVDs. And what people didn't really know about Netflix maybe, or not as well known, is a huge chunk of their business back then was taking up all the bulk DVDs that they used and then repackaging them and reselling them in bulk to distributors that would then resell them as new DVDs on Amazon.
So they would keep the packages and put them back in the package.
There's an entire function of it was resurfacing the DVDs, having new artwork in cases made, and putting in the artwork and putting the DVD into the case, and counting and just like redistributing back into a retail context.
That sounds like a fucking hell job.
That's a great fucking business scam. That sounds like rolling back the numbers on an odometer.
It's not fair that they
can... It's probably highly illegal. Like a lot of these tech companies, they always have some sort of highly illegal part of their business, you know?
Right. It seems illegal.
Until they get caught.
It seems illegal to say they're new.
Oh, we did the same thing. We did Kratom until they started, busting in on people's warehouses,
Right, but we didn't say it was new. Like, we weren't lying about what the Kratom was. We were like, this is fucking Kratom. What strain is it? I don't fucking know. It's Kratom. I'm selling you the goddamn Kratom. You want it or not? Was kind of our situation.
Well, technically, yeah, they were selling to distributors, and those distributors would then sell it on Amazon as new, and Amazon facilitates a ton of, black market bullshit as it is.
Hell yeah,
and they still do to this day.
Man, imagine how much money they're making off of one DVD. Cause
they were making millions.
Yeah,
I mean, especially because the resale was like just like $10 less than the normal new, and people were thinking they were buying new. They just thought it was a good deal on a DVD.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, what was your job?
So what's funny is I started out, and this is going somewhere. Like I could like talk endlessly about this. I've wanted to call in for a long time, just because like there's a lot of stories. It was such a shit show. It's one of those jobs where you think you're going to go work for like, wow, a tech company in Columbus. It's got to be futuristic at least, Oh,
I love it.
This is more than almost like a decade ago. At this point,
you thought they had a motherfucking like machine that was like reading the DVDs and then just spitting them out. You just had to put them in an envelope.
Well, that's funny. Yeah. I thought the same thing when I was younger. It was just like, yeah, I'll just hook up with one of these like gigantic companies and that'll be my job. That'll be my career. It's like, no, this isn't gonna work. Well, they want you to leave before you get your next raise.
Well, I definitely got into the belly of the beast, and like there was just so many sick things about it. But I do want to get to like the sickest aspect of it. But I'll describe my job just really quick so people can get a picture of just how like kind of fucked it was. Is that I made it to the point where first it was they would retain people for like a week at a time as like through a temp agency, and if you couldn't make their quota of like 30 cases of DVDs an hour, you just get cut. And that involved taking a like sleeve of a cover artwork, putting into a DVD case, putting the DVD into the case, popping it into a box, and then like shifting it down the line. And you just would repetitively do that forever and ever. I made my way up to being the person that just scanned envelopes with one of those laser guns. And like still to this day, I know what that sound is like beep, 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 beep. And I was just literally manually counting DVDs, hundreds of thousands. And, it's just like one of those sounds that gets burned into your brain. You know what that's like.
Right. I mean, I did a thing.
Yeah, you'll be dreaming about that later in life.
Yeah, I do. I dream about McDonald's. I still dream I'm into McDonald's drive-thru to this fucking day. I did a job a long time ago called mail sorting, and it sounded like kind of like that. They would just feed letters into this machine, and they would shoot out into different things, and I'd have to put them in the right zip code. And I fucking never forget what it feels like when they pound a bunch of new letters into that fucking machine. That like it was fucking terrible.
Yeah, and it doesn't occupy nearly enough of your brain, like fully, and so you kind of go a little bit crazy. And there was one guy, and this is kind of why I want to talk about it, is because I feel like this is happening more and more often. I'm hearing about these incidents at warehouses. A guy one time, he was on the line. He was the one that would just like stack boxes and things. One time he said he was just always kidding around. He's the kind of guy that his whole personality is wrapped up in just reciting like movie quotes verbatim, but like really well, like, you know.
Yeah.
And then like he was good at it. He was like good at it.
Yeah, he was good at it, but it's like he didn't. It's like he needed the movies as his crutch for being funny.
Yeah, there was no. Yeah.
I imagine there were a lot of film buffs working in the Netflix warehouse, just like those guys. You know, like guys that are like
movies.
Guys that can quote like every minute of Old School. Works at the Netflix factory. Yeah.
And so, you know, he's kind of like doing his like Rain Man, like reciting like an entire 5 minutes of movies type of thing, just keeping everyone entertained. And then one time, just like in the middle of nothing, he's just like, what I would do with a few extra minutes and an assault rifle.
Oh my.
And then like, everyone just kind of like, what movie is that from?
That's fucking the movie that's playing in his fucking mind all day when he's trying to remember lines from Raging Bull.
Yeah. I was like, is that for like Full Metal Jacket or something? I didn't know. And then 2 weeks later, we have an all-hands-on-deck meeting, and people are like, you know, Frank, he's no longer working with us.
Wow.
His credentials have been revoked. So if you guys see him hanging outside of the warehouse, don't let him in. He's not allowed to be on. We would call the police if he's here. He has made threats to management, and if you see him, I'd stay away from him. Don't take his calls. I'm just like, fuck.
I mean, what did I mean,
wow.
So it sounds like he was probably like also making, that was not his only threat, you know, where it was like, I'll fucking, some manager, was the management there horrible?
Yes. One of the guys, moved halfway across the country to work there, and he had to was let go for sexual harassment. There's so much shit. I mean, I could keep going, as I said, but yeah, it was just pretty startling, just like, you know, thinking you knew this guy, and then he's gone, and you're supposed to, like, be aware that he could be posing a threat. And even by then, like, you know, mass shootings were an issue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just recently, like, this past month, there was a warehouse shooting where 5 people were killed, and, like, a few months back, I don't know if there was a CVS warehouse where there was, like, 4 or 5 people were shot and killed.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, I'm just waiting for that to happen at Amazon. I know there was recently at Amazon someone that was suicidal and cutting themselves.
Well, we did this.
I don't know. I guess it's kind of like that work experience kind of had me thinking a lot just about, like, that's why free healthcare is, like, pretty essential in terms of mental health, because, like, no one's getting help at these warehouses, and they cause you to go a little crazy.
And there's new ones all,
you know.
There's new ones all the time too. We did that story about Blue Apron warehouses where motherfuckers are just cutting each other with knives and getting in fights
I didn't know that.
there. Yeah, they the Blue Apron, I don't know what's going on there now, but they were hiring temps too, and they weren't doing like any background checks, and like Blue Apron involves a lot of cutting, so they were teaching people how to cut, and there was a lot of fights happening there, and it seemed like dangerous to go to work at one of the warehouses after the story we read, and like those things are there's only going to be more of these tech places, and the way something you said about Netflix is really like a stark reality, is that these tech places hire temps, and then like they just decide what number it is those temps have to do, and if they can't get it, they're fucking out of there. It's not like a training thing. It's like, you people should be able to do 30 boxes of DVDs by the end of the fucking hour, and if you can't do that, then just fucking, I don't want this person, he's gone, and then just sends them off to not do anything.
Yeah, I mean, and this is, and you're talking about I mean, you're competing in these conditions, and it's so wild because I was getting paid like $12 an hour 15 years ago, like when I was doing all right. And to think that people now are still getting paid something around that, and the working conditions have only gotten more extreme, you know?
Right.
Like people are under way more pressure and getting very little reward out of it, you know?
Well,
And the money doesn't spend very much, you know?
And it is these tech warehouse jobs are not the warehouse jobs me and you had. You know, the warehouse jobs me and you had might have had some pressure, but I think the pressure is higher now because they use the metrics are infallible to those companies.
And they're doing everything based upon money. Is like, you know, we have X amount of subscribers, which is how much money we have coming in each month, and you need to work, you know, this fast or whatever, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that whole area of Rickenbacker is warehouses that I'm sure you could go to every one of them, and there's people at the end of their rope. It's just warehouse work is different now. When I was growing up, warehouse work was something that you could do for the rest of your life. You would generally start out.
It was at that point.
You would start doing. You were able to start doing physical stuff, and then move to the forklift and work in the forklift, and then do things. When I was a kid and I was getting into work, you could work at a warehouse. But you're right. Like a lot of it had moved to temp work even when I was 18.
Yeah, and it was gone. Like a lot of the good shit was gone too in town. Longaberger was fucking gone, probably close to gone by then.
Yeah.
Longaberger had gone to piecework.
Yeah.
Which like destroyed the place because they basically were like, you can come in and on your own and bring your own fucking tools, and however many baskets you make, you get paid, and you weren't really an employee there, so you didn't get any benefits, and you just came in there and fucking did your thing and left, which sounds fucking horrendous. I mean, basically is a model for what we have now, you know?
Yeah. I don't mind piecework. I think it's honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if it came
I
with
think
benefits.
at Insight, the piece rate was more than the hourly rate. Was the famous thing that they used to tell us. Like, I made more piece rate than I did. I got there when they went on hourly rate.
Right.
And I started out $9.50.
Well, I know at Amazon now they have like 7 different metrics that they keep track of. Like from like the time that you hold something to the time you scan it to the time, and they're even introducing like bracelets that will track everything you're doing.
Yeah, they're recording your conversations at some of the grocery. I know that like a lot of one of the things that a lot of grocery stores hate, because I think I've worked at like 2, is they hate it when the cashiers and the baggers talk to each other. They don't like the people in the front to talk to each other, and they're starting to like film and record up there to catch them doing that so that they can make them stop.
Right.
They don't want them doing that. They don't want them having personal conversations with each other while they bag the groceries. And I just think
that's stupid.
I mean, that's just such an inhuman thing to do to people.
It's just bad business because, you know, why would it be a bad thing to go to the fucking grocery store and have the person, you know, to roll up on like a fun conversation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't
People
hurt
that are
anything.
fucking enjoying themselves, right?
Yeah. Well, when you were counting DVDs, were you allowed to dick around there?
Yeah, you were, and there was a lot of leeway there, which is what kind of got people into trouble. Just because, like, you know, there's a lot of banter and shit, and no one was listening to anything. So there's just always people talking shit, and I mean, it was fun. It was better than having to stay silent. I know there's other, you know, conditions where you wouldn't be able to carry on a conversation.
No, a lot of warehouses. I know. I made boxes at Bath and Body Works warehouse. I was a box maker for the pickers, and we weren't allowed to talk to the pickers, and we weren't allowed to talk to each other. They just didn't want us talking to each other at all. No music either. It was just fold box. You motherfucker, you're here to fold boxes. You're not here to have a good time. You know, and just fold boxes all day.
And I mean, like, that dehumanization of work, I think, is actually just increasing. Like with the temp thing, it's one thing, but it's like the whole gig economy, and I feel like it should just be illegal to be able to hire temp workers for any sort of like extended period of time.
Right. That was always the thing in Ohio. You said you're in Ohio. Growing up,
Yeah.
Growing up, the Honda factory was like a big deal in Marysville, right? Everybody would love a job at the Honda factory. You had to get a temp. You had to get a temp job through there, but you worked there. When I was a kid, when I was younger, it was like you work there for 90 days and they decide if they're going to hire you, they let you go. But as I got older and knew people that were doing it, they started extending that 90 days and just being like, we'd like to have you around. We don't want to let you go, but we can't hire you. Yeah. So then you just become this permanent temp that's, making $5 an hour less than everybody else on the floor. You don't have benefits or anything like that. And you're not a part of the union or anything. Yeah, I worked second shift with a guy that worked temporary Honda first shift, and it was for quite a while. Yeah. He was waiting to get on. Yeah, and they just didn't do that. That's such a crime. They do that. They do that with programmers a lot now too. That's why the tech thing always blows me away, because if you see the bottom end of like tech work, places in town, big businesses in town aren't even hiring programmers or tech guys anymore, tech people anymore. They're contracting it out and paying them basically $11 an hour and saying, when the contract's up, maybe we'll hire you. And then they don't. They never do.
That's why the learn to code thing is such a joke. That it's going to kind of change the nature of work. It's just making it worse.
And even with like the apps, so like the coupon apps like Ibotta and the other ones that let you get coupons, the people that are verifying those receipts are on Amazon MTurk, and they're getting paid like 10 cents to review a receipt and make sure it matches the stuff that people said they bought. But when you do the time, like to access the website, if your internet isn't fast, and it takes if it takes 10 seconds for it to get to the next page, you're already like losing money. You know, it's not worth it, but people are spending all day long making maybe $2 to $4 an hour on Amazon MTurk, doing a lot of the micro type of processing that's required for a lot of those apps. Well, you don't think about it. In like tech work. You also just don't. When I was driving for Lyft, I didn't think about the money I was putting in to that. I thought about the end result. So like, I would get to the end of the day, oh shit, I made $150 today. And like, I transfer $150 into my bank account. I'm very happy to have this $150 that I made today, but I didn't make $150. And that can fool people. Yeah. I'm not saying people are stupid. I'm just saying that like when you get to the end of the day and you have an extra $150, you don't think about like, oh, you had to fill up with gas, you did a bunch of wear and tear on your car, you spent 16 hours making that $150. I'm an independent contractor, so a third of this should be set aside for taxes. Yes. Yeah. Even you're not making anything, but you don't think about that. You're in the moment when you're broke. This is all in the moment thinking. Like, I need $150 fucking dollars by the end of the day, or they're gonna turn my goddamn electricity off. Yeah. So I'm gonna make $150. I'll do anything it takes to get there. It sucks. I fucking hate this dystopia. Well, go ahead.
Did you guys ever experience sort of like workplace violence or like threats like that? I was just wondering, like, because it kind of stuck out with me, because a lot of the friends that I made like in college and stuff, like their lives are so far removed from anything like that happening that when I would like tell the story, it almost like distanced me from them, like that I'd even had that experience.
Yeah, I've seen fights. I think a lot of the only things I've really seen, the cable company was a like physical place to work, kind of a physical job, and if you. I've told the story on Street Fight about me and my manager. You basically have you had jobs called afters at the cable company that were to be done between 5 and 7 every day. Okay? So I had 2 hours to do 2 jobs. And this is a Saturday. I want to fucking go home. And this guy gives me one after on one side of town and another one on the complete other side of town. Like, you just drive all the way across Columbus, which during rush hour between 5 and 7 can take like an hour. So there's just no way I was going to get off work on time. And I bitched about it, and then he bitched about it, and then I bitched about it. Then he stood up. Then I didn't back down and walked towards him. And I wasn't as fat as I am, but just like, picture like what you see when a guy gets in a fight, a baseball player gets into a fight with a referee. We were like face to face, and we were screaming at each other, and you know, it wouldn't have taken much for that to turn into real workplace violence.
Yeah.
You know. And when I worked there, a guy once he went and did a job, and he felt like he had a good rapport with the people at the house that he worked at. So he went back after work and tried to eat dinner with them. Like, knocked on the door and was like, oh, you offered me food. I thought I would come here and hang out and eat dinner with you. And they were like, no, that we do. And they got fucking freaked out about it. You know what I mean? They were like, fuck this. This is fucked up. And then when they searched his car,
they shouldn't have. They were disingenuous. Don't do that.
But hey, I would never invite the cable guy to dinner.
Hey, man, man, I was at work today, and these people said they would give us dinner. Let's go take them up on the offer.
So he drove there after work, and they felt like he might get violent.
That is workplace violence.
And he had a machete in his car and shit like that. Who knows? I don't think he was gonna kill him. He didn't come off.
Probably for weeds.
Yeah, probably for weeds. But nobody carried a machete at the cable car. He was the only motherfucker that had a machete in his truck. I can tell. Would be useful, just not something that you carry in your truck. But that was a weird experience that I saw. But I honestly don't think he was going to hurt anybody. I think he was just a fucking weirdo.
Just daft.
Yeah, just a fucking weirdo.
Space cadet.
Like Jim Carrey in the fucking famous movie Cable Guy. He was basically that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But yeah, it's just, for me, it's always been just fights. I've seen guys get real mad when they left, but I always got the impression that they went in a car and punched the steering wheel and drove home and figured their life out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I have to say I don't have any memorable events. Mostly stuff like what you just talked about. You know, as long as we don't touch each other, we can act like we would beat the shit out of each other. We can say what we would do to each other. Just don't do it, right?
Yeah, I also want to say...
It is funny. It is when someone like throws a chair on the ground and rushes in somebody's face and won't hit them. But it's just like... It can't touch them, but is like 1 inch away from their face.
I mean, Randy would have whooped my ass.
I just want to take you backside. I just want to take you out by the cardboard baler and whoop your ass.
Yeah, he would have beat the shit out of me, but I knew he couldn't hit me.
Right.
So I was extra tough in the moment too, and it was just like we're screaming. And I think that I don't know if we would have got fired. If we would have gotten a fight, because they would have been like, you can't
fight here.
Two guys here. But I don't think we should have been fired if we got into an actual
as long as you both agreed to it.
Yeah. There was a lot of guys. I mean, that was what it was. It was just like, the closest things came to workplace violence is when you work a blue-collar job with a bunch of kind of guys like me or like rednecky guys. When you have a meeting that has bad news, it almost always ends in something. Somebody storming out of the room or throwing a chair or kicking over a trash can or punching the steering wheel in their van. But it's generally, I think like the real violent stuff happens in higher pressure jobs than the sorts of things I did. Like I can see it happening when you describe a metric at Netflix that's like, if the guy fucking next to you isn't fast enough and he's slowing you down and you think you're going to be down, it's like some people just get like really, some people, especially older white guys, just don't fuck with their work ever. Just don't get in their way. They just got to do it because they will fucking come in there. They will start threatening people. You know what I mean? They're the ones that are crazy about their work, and they will go a little nuts, I think.
Sure.
Well, thanks for calling. And
yeah, thanks.
Try to set something up in this city soon. I promise. You have a good night.
All right. See ya.
That's crazy though to think about, like just.
Yeah, I mean, the shooter thing too. I mean, that's also I've worked with people with real weird senses of humor too, like that.
Or what I think he said it on the line, and then, you know, this guy heard it and was like, he's fucking bullshitting.
Right.
You know, but somebody else on the line went to HR and was like,
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that joke.
No jokes like that. Not at all. There's nothing funny about that.
Yeah, I
can understand that.
I can't.
But you gotta save that for your buddies.
Yeah, you just go home and be like, I'd love to shoot everybody.
Yeah, I just want to go to work and take a gun and like just get rid of everyone.
Yeah. It's like the thing about like the fighting though is bad. Like it creates like a really ugly fucking, like nobody wants to.
We don't need fighting. I mean, fighting should be like a sanctioned sport, or something that if two people agree to it, they can do.
Just two crazy guys should be allowed to, like,
of course,
and
gals too.
Yeah, guys, gals. Non-binary pals. Yeah.
Yes. Anybody.
It's like at a bar. I always think like if there was just a bar where it was like okay to fight.
I've seen people resolve their issues through fighting. I've seen people fight and then just figure it out, and then they just. It's not like they don't do it all the time, but. One time it comes to fighting.
I saw people whoop each other's. I've seen people get their ass whooped and then be friends the next day.
Right.
I've just seen it too many fucking times, man. You just forget about it. You're like, buddy, well, I don't even know why we were whooping each other's asses the other day.
Yeah.
See, but sometimes if you like really beat somebody up, like really give them a good beat up, they're like, shit, I was wrong.
It sets a tone. It lets you know like how far you will go. Right.
You're like, damn, okay.
You're not gonna fuck with me anymore.
Yeah.
I'm actually serious.
Okay, you were right. I messed up.
Yeah,
I thought you wouldn't do anything.
I guess I don't know you like that.
But me and you are also the same person. The scary thing is that, you know, he told that story and me and you were the same person that, like, as soon as somebody says a thing like that, we're like, that motherfucker's full of shit. You know what I mean? Oh, he's, like, if a guy says, I'm going to shoot everybody at work, I hear that and I'm like, he ain't gonna shoot nobody.
Yeah, no.
You know, and I think that when people talk about getting in if he comes over here, I'll whoop his ass, and I'm like, he ain't gonna whip anybody's ass. He comes over and
nobody says it. Those are things that you do. They're not things you say.
Yeah.
All right, let's see who's.
I think we're the same person though, is what I'm saying. Like we've been in situations for live shows where things have happened, and both of us are like, yeah, I ain't gonna do shit.
Yeah, I take care of me. I control my thoughts and actions.
How's it going? People are mouthy.
How's it going? Thanks for calling Street Fight Radio.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Pretty good.
How's it? Yeah, okay. You know
who's a howza?
Huda.
What's going on tonight?
You guys cutting in and out.
Oh, really?
Bit? Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well, I don't know if there's anything I can do about that, but I will note that. Thank you. All right, next call. Thanks for calling Street Fight Radio. Who am I talking to?
Yo, it's Adam, Crappy Oats.
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
It's well. How are you guys?
Doing all right. Brian's here. He's just he's listening. He's just a little tied up at the moment, but he's definitely listening.
I mean, I get when he doesn't want to talk to me. I know.
He gets shy about it.
No, I hadn't talked to you guys in a while, so I figured I'd give you a call.
Yeah, how's life treating you?
It's okay. My landlord's been dicking me around a little bit, but
you
know, other than that, I guess I can't complain. What's up?
How?
Well, they're trying to sell they decided to sell their house that I live in.
Oh.
And so,
yeah.
Yeah, so they've kind of been, they kind of have been like putting it on me to make the house look nice for people that want to buy it.
Yeah.
And so I kind of told them finally, it's like I'm not, you know, the Hagrid of this house. You gotta pay me if I'm gonna be keeping it up. So.
Right, like I paid to live in my own very unique but peculiar manner, and there's no guarantee
Exactly.
that it's going to be home showing quality living conditions.
Oh no. I think I was peeing, but I think I know where we're at.
We're
now.
talking to Crappy Oats right now, whose landlord is trying to sell the place and wants him to spruce it up a little bit.
Brett had the same issue, didn't you?
Yeah, I had people invading my house all the time. Like, I would have a bong, like, on the kitchen table, just smoked weed, and someone would come and look at the house. And I would just be standing there with my hands behind my back, like, all right, have a look-see. You might find some interesting stuff.
I know. This basement, too.
I know.
You come down here, this basement's, like, got every single thing we've ever got. It's got fucking Iraqi dinars. It's got fireworks. It's got bongs. It's got fucking... it's just any kind of contraband that you could ever think exists. Like, just imagine coming down here and seeing foreign currency and a kratom-covered desk. And
it's a scary-looking setup. It's honestly, if I no context, if I just saw a picture of this, I'd be like, some sort of hate group is growing out of the basement of my rental property.
Oh God, I would be so nervous if I was the guy, like the guy that's renting to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's why you want a house though, man, because you're like the whole
I don't want
fight.
Yeah, like, I don't want any. I don't want someone rifling through my stuff. Yeah,
trying to explain this to somebody is too much.
Right,
man.
Right.
Yeah, he.
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
How often is he bringing people through? Like, what's the thing here?
Well, he's only done one so far. But like he made us They did give us a bit of cash, but like they made us leave the house with our dog, and lock the cats in this tiny bathroom, which
how much?
Of course went badly.
We need to hear how much money that is. Did they give you money to go out? Did they give you enough to go out to eat or some shit?
Dude, you get to do fucking...
That's like what they said. Yeah, they gave us like $100.
Okay, yeah, that's
so it wasn't like
I'd go eat like some shit.
But like looking online at like other people who've been in like this situation, like it sounds like I should be getting like half off my rent, like to like do this kind of stuff.
I don't know, dude.
Is like what other people in similar situations online have been saying.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a law on that. It's just going to be whatever. You're at the mercy of your landlord, I'm guessing. I don't know what you would fight them about, except for just making a stink out of it. Like, you're going to really regret it if you don't pay me half the rent.
I'll fucking cut large gases in here before I fucking leave and make them think your property smells like shit, okay? Big farts.
Yeah.
I just can't, like...
I'd go get a hotel room and, like, just fuck it up.
Right.
For the night.
They should give you a hotel, I think.
Yeah, just go.
That's what I think.
Goes to have hotel sex.
It's not even like I live pretty clean. Like, I mean, it was fine, but they were like saying like this guy, this guy we want to sell to, like has horrible pet allergies. We want to like deep clean it, and like I'm not really not sure because they didn't like shampoo the carpets or anything. So I'm like, first that seems a little bit bullshit to me. But yeah, then they kind of flipped out on us like at the end, and they were like, well, this is like my asset. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, that's why I'm giving you a bunch of money for it. Like,
yeah. This is my asset
like
too.
$20,000 a year to fucking live here.
Yeah.
But this is your asset too. This is your house.
This is the game, dog. Like, this is the game we're playing.
Yeah. They think that landlords think there should be no friction. They think that you should be able to move in and then move out and somebody should be able to move in the next day. Like, they just feel like they shouldn't have to deal with the fact that a human is living in their house. Because that's what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the fact that he's mad, like, he rented a house to a dude with a dog,
Yeah.
Like, how can you be mad about that? And do you feel like you're going to get kicked out if somebody buys the thing, or...
No, well, like, they legally have to let us live here to the end of their lease.
Right.
But, like, that's the thing, is, like, they're, like, doing this, like, they want to show the house and shit. But, then they were, like, because me and Sarah are getting married in September, and they were like, oh, well, like, you guys could live there, and they said it would be fine if these people end up buying it if you guys live until September. And I'm like, nah, I'm trying to get out now. Like, get me out early. So, like, we're looking at houses already to try and, like, get out, because I'm like, I'm not going to leave the house, every month even, like maybe more than a month, and like make sure, like I'm protecting your asset and making it look nice. It just like, it just seems we've only been here for a year, and it just seems like this guy was like, oh, like, you know, while we move, because they like live down the street from us, they're like, while we move and get everything situated, like, I'll just earn a passive income on this house, and it will be like completely, like, there'll be no problem, and then I'll straight up sell the house. And I'm like, you know, like, dude, like, I'm not here to like make sure you make a bunch of money selling your fucking house.
I'm
like,
not your fucking employee.
Like, I literally don't care if it fucking burns down the day after I leave it. Like,
you're putting this thing on the line. This is the game. You're right. This is the game. You put this thing in my hands.
Yeah.
You have to deal with me. And yeah, the prospective buyer, if they aren't understanding that someone has a fucking dog, I mean, that's on them.
Or that somebody lives there. I just think it's crazy. Like, my parents used to always my parents was always trying to sell the house when we were kids. Like, just they hated the neighborhood.
Constantly?
Yeah, we talked about how we kind of lived in a neighborhood. My parents made probably more money.
Brian, don't make any friends. We're about to move.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and
every single month.
Yeah, we lived in a very working class neighborhood, and my parents like made a little more than an average like working class family, but they also had 5 kids, so it was like they shouldn't have expected to do better. And they didn't
they didn't even shop at Sam's Club either.
No, they didn't shop. That's what I'm saying.
That's how you learn your bad habits. That's how you learn your badass habits.
I don't know why they didn't expect to. I don't know why they expected more, but they was always trying to sell the house and move to Pickerington, which is just like, you know. Just to really, like, they were trying to level up.
Just a different lie.
Yeah, they were always trying to level up. And they just hated that neighborhood. So they would always be trying to sell the house. Constantly trying to sell that house. And it smelled so bad in there. I'm talking about, like, this fucking house. We had 2 Newfoundland dogs, right? They have a lot of hair.
Yeah, they slobber everywhere, too.
They slobber everywhere, and we had an above-ground pool, like all white trash. People that are kind of like just up a little bit. We had an above-ground
inflatable one, or like a straight-up above-ground pool?
No, they didn't have
like
those inflatables back then. We had the one that was like basically aluminum siding with plastic on the inside.
Yeah.
We had this above-ground pool.
The fucking worst.
And those fucking dogs would swim in that pool all day long. And they run in the house and run out of the house.
Oh,
God.
Yeah. Dude, I know exactly what house you smelled like.
Yeah. Well, dude, I was so scarred when I was a kid because there was this girl that I, like, was kind of into. And, like, back in 9th grade, during the winter, you would let girls wear your coat.
Oh, no.
And I let this girl fucking wear my coat. And while she was in class, they were like, that fucking coat smells like shit. It's gross.
Yeah.
Smelly ass coat. And I was so fucking embarrassed. It ruined me. I think that's one of the things, because I still feel the feeling I get when she handed me, like, my coat. Was like, it just smells like between really her bad.
Yeah, she just pinched it and held it with 2 fingers.
It smells really bad. But the thing I didn't get about it was, like, when they were trying to sell the house, they would, like, clean the whole place up. They would just put on like a crazy facade.
Lipstick on a pig.
Put lipstick on a pig. This house would look perfect. And it's just like, I mean, when somebody comes in here, they're going to make a decision regardless of what the fucking house looks like. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think that there's a way that the inside of a house needs to look to sell. I think you could walk into your house right now, look around, and be like, I know what I'm getting, you know, and then walk out and decide if you're going to buy it. I don't think it fucking matters.
Yeah, just because, like, all of the puzzles are thrown all over the ground in the playroom.
Yeah.
And just because, like, I have too many bikes, so some of them have to hang out in the living room.
That's weird, though.
That doesn't say anything about, like, the structure of the house or anything.
I know. I mean, my house smelled so fucking, the house growing up smelled so bad, but they would, and there were holes in the walls.
I don't do stink. Stink scares. That's
Jason's
I don't want
fucking
to do that.
bedroom. Jason would get in trouble sometimes in the early days, and they would put him in his bedroom, and he would just punch holes in the walls. There was just holes all through his walls in his room, and there were holes in the living room. There were holes in all the walls. The place was just, you ain't selling this thing. It's just,
wait, so they would just, like, Febreze the house, but not cover up the holes?
All they would do is bug bomb the house. Basically, they were like, we're selling the house. We're going to bug bomb this motherfucker. We'll hire Orkin. Orkin come out and bug bomb this thing. And then we'll have Stanley Steamer come in and he'll clean the carpets. That'll get rid of the dog smell. Boom. We got ourselves a sellable house.
All right.
Didn't sell it, though. They up on the market in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. Couldn't do it. And then 2 years later, 2 years after I got out of school, they finally sold that house, and they were just like $1 million. My parents love these big dogs. It's the craziest thing. They live indoors with enormous dogs.
My friend had one. It was awful.
Mine have two. 2 Great Danes. They put their nose in your balls and
Great
asshole.
Danes? No, Newfoundlands.
No, well, now they got 2 Great Danes.
Oh, God.
And then fucking things will put their nose right in your balls and asshole. They're
those
fucking...
are stinky ass dogs too.
Right, and they come up to like my ribs. They're like the tallest, biggest animals, and they're in this tiny house. And their backyard is like an apartment-sized backyard.
No, don't do that to those majestic, gigantic creatures.
They just want to have the dogs, dude. They just feel good with the dogs.
We control these big beasts.
Dude, speaking of Great Danes,
speaking
of Great Danes,
we have
like a
dominion
terrible
over these.
story that will depress everyone, but it is kind of wild. I had this boss when I was working at the butcher shop. And he had a Great Dane for some reason. And this guy was like the dumbest fucking dude I've ever met in my life. Just like real disorganized. And he owned this butcher shop that went under after about like 3 months because he got bored with it. But anyway, so he kept this fucking Great Dane that he had like upstairs in literally the shittiest house I've ever seen in my life. Like, my buddy ended up living in it, and it's like the shower literally went through the ceiling.
Oh,
It was like just in utter disrepair.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he had this big ass Great Dane upstairs, and he was like too broke or whatever to feed the dog really, so he would just bring home like organ meat from the butcher shop and like feed this dog and keep it locked in this room upstairs all day. One day I had to go let it out for him because I live like down the street. And I was like, yeah, I'll let your dog out or whatever. I went there in this room. I opened the door and I just got hit with like the most disgusting smell I've ever smelled. There's just like blood from the organ meat everywhere in this room, just covering this room. Like, it looked like the fucking like Amityville Horror.
Yep.
And there's just like dog shit and piss everywhere in this room too.
People think
the dog is just like tearing the walls apart, and so I finally, me and my buddy, we just like had to tell him like, dude, you gotta get rid of that dog, or else we're gonna have to like call the cops.
Yeah,
because,
dude,
this is fucked up.
When I was the cable guy, people do that in their. It's so sad what people do to dogs because their basements, they will just like multiple people. I mean, I would say 1 or 2 people a week would just chalk their basement up as a loss. You know what I mean? And they would just be
just like we don't go down there. Don't think about that when you're thinking about where to store the Halloween decorations. They're gonna have to go to the attic or the garage. The basement is in no man's land now.
Yeah,
that belongs to the dog shit.
Because I had to go down there to check the cabling stuff.
The ammonia will knock you out.
Yeah, and you get down there and it's fucking like just little piles of dog shit everywhere and food.
Holy shit!
And it's just like, why? Why are you doing this? Like, what? Brett, I think it is. I think it's Brett's right. They're like proving their dominion over Beast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I am a human. I own
powerful. Animals.
Yeah.
I don't take orders from animals. I own animals.
I mean, I really like that people.
Oh, man.
I really like that people. I see people that take care of their animals now. Like, that really makes me feel good. Like, people online that are like, because I used to think it was dumb to like give your dog Prozac or whatever like that, and then like now I'm just like, fuck it, man. Just treat the thing with respect if you're gonna have it.
It's way better than someone like, oh, that's an outside dog. We just keep it on that chain 365 days a fucking year for some reason. You know, they're like trying to create a monster.
Yeah, outside dogs are the saddest. Like I had a lot of friends with outside dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
Adam,
I don't know. We got one, and it took me forever to want to get one. So, because there's so much responsibility. So,
how big is it?
Yeah. But what's up?
How big is it?
It's like a husky, so it's like medium sized.
Nice.
But,
Okay.
Yeah, he
Cute though. Look like one of those
just,
dogs
sits
for the
outside
show.
all day. Like he makes us go take him outside, and he just goes and sits out there all day.
I fucking hate.
So,
I would hate that.
I mean, when it snowed here, he was in fucking heaven, dude. He just went and sat out in the snow, like literally just sat in the snow.
That's great. You
all day.
Get him a snow machine.
Loved it.
Get him a snow machine. Put him in a room with a snow machine and some organs.
Dude, I'm already spending way too much fucking money on this dog. I'm not getting the dog a fucking snow machine.
All right. Well, something to think about.
Well, Adam,
Like-
I'm sorry.
Yeah, man.
Thanks
no,
for
I
calling.
was done. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
for calling.
no, it's always good to talk to you guys. I'm glad I got to vent about this stupid fucking landlord situation.
Yeah, fuck this landlord.
Yeah, that sucks. We had
Yeah,
the switch.
Fuck them all.
We had a switch too for mine, and it was just like you have no idea what's going to happen next. It just feels like everything feels uncertain when it comes to your living situation, and that just sucks ass.
Are we echoing, Jason?
I don't hear it. I'm about to check here. But...
Okay. That's cool. Thanks, Adam.
All right, he's gone. You can hear more of Adam on the Southpaw Pod.
Good podcast about spores.
I believe Southpaw means left-handed, right? So
yes.
That's supposed to be like some sort of.
I'm right-handed, so you know.
Right. So we're gonna do. Are you want to take a break tonight?
I think we'll do one more call and take a break.
Let's see who's on the line. Hope that you are feeling fine. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, it's going.
Who's this?
Nicole.
Hi, Nicole. How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're feeling pretty good. We're about to leave for tour, so I think.
Oh yeah. I'm seeing you guys in Boston.
Nice. Yeah, that's
Great.
gonna be fun. That should be a fun
Very
show.
fun.
Well, what's going on tonight?
Yeah. So it's actually funny. I think the caller before last, you had mentioned that like grocery stores started like monitoring like people at the deli, their conversations. So basically, I work at a like natural food store, and I work in the deli.
Mm-hmm.
So we have like an open kitchen, and then we have a little back area. And basically, we got my whole crew got in huge trouble because a customer like caught one of the employees saying basically like, who gives a shit what they think? They're all rich. Like all the customers are rich.
I love it. Yeah.
And so she wrote like a whole 3-page letter to the owner of the store, like saying how offended she was and everything.
I expect the help to show some sort of graciousness for the kind of largesse us rich people bestow upon them.
Well, that's what's so confusing is that she said in her letter that she and her husband were both unemployed and like living off their savings.
Oh, weird.
And so I don't understand why she was so offended then if we weren't even talking about
Yeah, that should have been
her.
solidarity. She should have wrote into the deli and been like, hey, I heard all y'all talking about these rich motherfuckers. I agree.
Yeah.
I can barely afford it,
Yeah,
but I'm
hell
not going to
yeah.
put
Like-
hormones in my body. Right?
Exactly, like this shit should be cheaper so
Right.
more people can afford it, you know?
What a weird reaction.
So I know. So we basically the whole rule now is that we're not allowed to talk about anything personal in front of the store, which is so messed up because we spend like 8 hours, and some people spend more than that just like standing in front of the store with like basically nothing to do, and we're only allowed to talk about like scoop.
You're going to have to start saying, like, you just have to say to your friend, like, okay, gazpacho is Captain Marvel. So the gazpacho was like, you know, kind of bland, but there were some parts that had some punch. The end was really nice, you know?
It's like, what are you supposed like? They want robots. Maybe they should hire robots.
They should try robots.
Yeah, they should try getting a Roomba to come up.
I just think it's, you know, really the way that the world is and where everything is going. If I was the type of like cynical marketing type person, I would get people to talk more. I think that like walking into a store and having the employees be themselves and be enjoying themselves is like a bonus to going there. Because otherwise I can just pay people to get abused and fulfill it for like an online order, you know, get abused at some Amazon warehouse
or at Walmart. Like
right.
If I wanted to go into Walmart, like, and watch the employees get treated and beaten down. Like, I always think I've found that uniforms are a big thing with me. It's like, I feel better in places where people don't have to wear uniforms. Like maybe a smock.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Whole Foods was like that too. And I used to do mystery shopping for Whole Foods before Amazon took over. And there was a lot more of a freewheeling attitude where like you really talk to some goofballs that were like, I'm just amazed that you're employed, but I'm glad you're here because you're so passionate about cheese or the deli or whatever beer or whatever the weird shit you do. Like you're really into it. And you also told me a weird anecdote about like Ulysses or something, you know, like there's nothing more welcoming than having people enjoying themselves when you like come in there. I don't know. I just really don't understand how
exactly
like the customer would want them to be completely devoid of any like personality.
Blank slate.
Yeah.
The whole point, like, that our owner, like, says that he wants to foster, like, a sense of community, you know? And I don't know, like, what better sense of community is than, like, we have it's a really good crew in the kitchen, and, like, we have a really good time, and there's a lot of customers that we're on really good terms with. We can just, like, chill out and, like, talk to them and talk about their day and everything. And I know, like, lots of people come back just to talk to us, you know. There's some people who like really don't really have a sense of community anywhere else, so they'll come in like every single day and talk to us, and it's like sometimes they can be a little annoying, but like for the most part it's good to have that sense of like community, you know.
No, absolutely. I mean, if you've been in those positions, you absolutely know that there are people that rely on you, like shooting the shit.
Exactly.
You know.
And now we're just gonna be talking about like whatever.
That you don't care about,
but
probably.
Yeah, there's actually exactly, yeah, and there's so many things that we're so passionate about, you know. But I don't know.
It sucks. I just don't.
There's a couple other things. I don't want to take up all your time, but you know, it's very interesting working at this health food store. We get a lot of characters in there. So like, there's a couple of funny anecdotes I have for some of the interesting customers that come in. I had one lady come up to me and ask me if we had any gazpacho in the back that hadn't been touched by light. And basically she thinks that like the nutrients basically are broken down by light, and so she was hoping we have some like chamber where we put all of our produce in so they don't get spoiled by the outside. Like, where do you think all of these like grains were grown? Like, that's kind of part of the whole process is photosynthesis.
I want a gazpacho, but give me one from the dark room.
Like, I don't know who you think we are.
That's funny. That is somebody that's like reading the articles that like some fitness app sends you that says like, is light killing the nutrients in your gazpacho?
Real Pharmacy, Pharmacy. They're like reading, like they're freaking out about GMOs. Obviously,
sure,
right off the top, but there's so many.
The lycopene in tomato is drastically reduced once presented with light molecules. Yeah.
Just fucking going to the grocery store with a flashlight and getting rid of all the fucking nutrients in the food.
Yeah,
that's fucking. Exactly. I mean, I can't. I mean, I believe. I just people will believe so. Those health food people. They want to believe that there's that there's food that's like...
They think there's like a manual. They think there's a manual for the body and that you can defeat all ailments.
Yeah. and it's like my mother-in-law, my grandmother-in-law, I guess. My daughter's grandma believed in this diet called Eat Right for Your Blood Type, where they took each blood type and then just assigned foods to each blood type.
Right.
Like, I'm sure that they said there were reasons for why this and this and this, but I went to college and I took classes where we talked about blood type, and there's no discernible difference between the blood types. So in my mind, some guy had a fucking like big spreadsheet, and he was like, "Oh, negative, don't eat beef. Oh, positive, don't eat chicken." And like, it would just be like just this run the gamut of weird shit. Like, weird. She would like tell my wife, like, you know, you're not supposed to eat salmon. And it's like, well, salmon's not like that bad for anybody. And she's like, oh yeah, but it'll fuck your blood type up. Crazy. She would like be like on my wife's shit because she drank wine instead of beer. She's like, your blood type says you should drink beer. You shouldn't be drinking wine. Like, it was just so fucking weird to me. But she believed it wholeheartedly to the point where she would like go to the grocery store. She had a blog about Eat Right for Your Blood Type, and she would hand people business cards with her blog thing and be like, you got to do this. You got to fucking do this diet.
Yeah.
Like, it was just...
There's too many people out here with O positive blood type that are eating brown rice, and it's completely ruining their day.
Yeah, and it was just like she believed in it so fucking much, and she lived till, I believe, her early 80s.
Not bad.
And she attributed that...
Yeah.
To that.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
It was like you're paying attention to what you eat. That's
what it is.
That's happening.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
You stopped eating like a box of Wheat Thins for dinner, like a lot of people end up doing.
Well, I think the natural health food like sector like wouldn't really make money if they were just like, hey, just kind of eat a balanced diet, like don't eat too much of anything, and it'll probably be fine. Don't like go wild on the soda or anything. But it's not that hard. I think that they make all their money on making people think that it's like an exact science. And if you just get the right amount of supplements and the right amount of this one like super nut or whatever.
Yeah. Well, like, because they're always looking for like a nut or like
rainforest berries.
Motherfuckers will every time too tell you like there's a new vegetable that comes out like it's been out forever, but it's basically like a release of a new vegetable every few years where they're like, buddy, if you're not eating pomegranates, you're probably going to die at 65.
You're dead.
Yeah. Pomegranates extend your life by 30 years.
Right.
What's the big vegetable the same thing now?
It's the same
with hemp hearts.
Clean eating, too, is like when everybody... It's all about clean, and that's like such a misnomer that people get obsessed with that makes them think they're going to live forever.
It's bizarre. I mean...
what's the most recent...
We're still really stuck on the whole, like, kale. We're really into the CBD right now.
CBD.
It's like half grocery store, half supplement store, and so, like, I haven't heard as much about, like, different, like, for food, but people have been, like, going wild over the CBD.
People love CBD.
Yeah, there hasn't been any new superfoods that I've been into recently.
Hemp hearts was a big deal for a
hemp hearts are still good.
Yeah.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah. It's always something that you can get, like, it's always something that, like, you can only get very small amounts of it. You know what I mean? Like, hemp hearts are these, really tiny things that it takes a ton to fill a bag, and they're like $45. And they're like, buddy, if you're not fucking eating these $45 seeds, then you're probably going to die young.
That is also what it comes down to. It's a matter of spending, like, well, you know, I can afford to live longer. And actually, I deserve it because I've achieved this type of wealth to pay this much money.
If you're not drinking a jar of amino acids every day, then you don't even know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where the fucked up stuff is at the grocery store is the cooler area by the supplements where you're just looking at it like, ooh.
The what?
You know, like in the supplement section, there's always a cooler section with like probiotics And then, like, also just random jars of stuff that are like $60, and you're like, oh, who's getting into that stuff?
Bee pollen?
No, there's down the street there's a natural.
Oh yeah.
There's a natural grocery store that was like the original Goofy Doofy barn back in the 70s.
Oh, and they love CBD too, Lucky's.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Okay. There's a place called Lucky's around here that's.
No, Lucky's is new.
Yeah, they're nuts about CBD though. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Clintonville Natural Grocers is run by like anti-vaxxer vegans for like the last 40 years.
And you're going there?
I've been in there. They have some shit that you can only get jackfruit in a can from them.
Oh no,
they're like they've cornered the market on jackfruit in a can. By my house, at least. By my house.
Wait till next year when. I mean, because that's one of those things, right?
Jackfruit's a good substitute for meat stuff. Durian will never catch on unless you get to like hot sauce people, maybe.
The Food Network is just it makes food popular like out of nowhere. And durian's always on there. We got that durian.
See, but a lot of it also like Aldi sells hemp parts now. Aldi sells chia seeds. Aldi sells avocado oil. All of like your primo shit. They do get pomegranates too. They got good deals on pomegranates.
I don't like pomegranates.
So I'm sorry, you had a couple other goofy customers that come into your natural grocery store. You wanted to mention, didn't you?
Oh yeah. So yeah. We have. There's a couple people. So I a lot of different like. We have smoothies that we do in the deli, which is like such a fucking ripoff because. It's $7 just for like a plain like smoothie with frozen fruit and then the liquid of your choice.
Wow.
$7.
Wow, yeah.
And then it's $1 each, like extra for every single add-in you put in. So like if you get a scoop of protein powder, that's an extra $1. Like people are going and getting like $10, $11 smoothies that they could be making at home for like $1.
You're talking to two $12 smoothie guys when we're on the road.
No, but they have to be. I like an authentic Brooklyn made $12 smoothie.
Yeah.
We had one in Chicago that was like an apothecary where like all of the food was lined up like ingredients and they were like tearing off roughage and shit. And like that was worth it. If you pull out a bag of Dole frozen fruit and mix it up with like some coconut milk and shit, I'm not paying $10.
Right, I get mad about that, but when we were in LA, we fucking got each because me and Brett will be on the road. Once we're on the road for like 5 days, it's like we're fucking getting smoothies.
Yeah, we start lacking nutrients. I'm like, we need more vegetable as sides. I need to drink spinach. I need like B12. I need everything right now.
We got the best smoothie I've ever had was in LA. But Brett's right, dude. Brooklyn and LA are the two best places to get a smoothie.
Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of appreciate the fact that it's like just like fruit and like a liquid. It's not any crazy shit. It's not like extra added sugar or anything like that. But it's also just still not worth that amount of money.
Yeah, that's a
by
lot.
any stretch of imagination.
Tastes so good.
That's what I make for my kid. Like that's my kid's smoothie.
Yeah.
And it does. A smoothie does when we're talking about one with protein powder in it. You can probably get 6 of those for $12 if you go to the store and buy the stuffs, and that's generous. Even that's buying the organic fruit.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, it's weird.
So we have like, I've had a couple people like for whatever reason, like the smoothie thing is a large like sticking point for the customers. They just like don't really understand it. So like I've come out with like a smoothie, and some woman like refused to pay for it because she didn't think it would be cold.
What? Wait, are you kidding me?
I hate warm smoothies. There's places that have warm ass smoothies.
Whoa, I don't want that.
I know. I mean, the one place we went in Chicago, that was a warm smoothie.
Was that a warm smoothie?
That was a warm jalapenos. It was more like a juice, and it had jalapenos in it. Yeah.
That was a good one. That was a top smoothie. That's one of my favorite road smoothies, actually.
Yeah, we got to get a show in Chicago going soon.
That's just like juice, though. That's not like that's the whole point of the smoothie. And she just like, I handed it to her and I'm like, here you go. And she just like looked at me and like put her hand on it and then like took her hand away.
I'm not paying for this.
I would expect warm to cold, But if I ever ordered a smoothie and it came out cold, I would never be surprised.
But it's just people don't know what they're fucking ordering.
Yeah,
ever.
they assume it's going to be something else,
and they think it's hip. They're just like she's just like at the natural foods grocery store. This woman, she's just like, I'm feeling it, man. I bought a pomegranate. I got some avocado oil. I'm gonna fucking go over there. Oh, smoothies, what's up?
Yeah,
smoothies like vegetable coffee is what she thought.
Yeah,
you can boil that stuff up, man. Get that stuff. You should have warmed. You should have said, I'll put it in the microwave for you.
Yeah, I want some piping hot rhubarb. I would kill for piping hot rhubarb.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's what's weird about Trader Joe's, right? Is a place that is primarily
a microwave food
but the
distribution
people that
center.
Shop there don't seem like microwave food people.
People are rich. People are lazy. And they cut corners, and they're very low fucking class. And they will eat slop out of a plastic tray.
We watched that undercover. Me and Brett watched an Undercover Boss the other night, and this guy was eating a lean cuisine, and I was just like appalled.
We were both like, "Is this really happening right now?"
Fucking lean cuisine. Y'all got that Amy stuff at your place? Do you have a frozen food section at all?
Yeah, we do.
Good. Amy's? You got that Amy stuff there?
Oh, yeah, we got Amy.
That's the jam. Yeah. If it was a little cheaper, it'd be the jam.
I co-signed Amy's, but yeah, it's too much money.
Yeah, it's like, fuck.
Well, the really nice thing about my job is we get like $5 towards lunch every day, and then $6 every week to get a new product and like try it out.
Damn.
Plus like 40% off groceries.
Whoa.
So it's like it ends up being like such a good deal.
Yeah, that is a good deal.
Like fucking
stuff that I just kind of take.
Yeah.
It's a really good deal.
Yeah, there's a lot of shrink in a grocery store.
$6 at a natural food store.
Yeah. They can get a down payment on some monk fruit, maybe. Monk fruit is the new one. Monk fruit and cassava is the new shit that I've seen the most of.
Cassava isn't new though, but like it's becoming a big thing.
Low carb people are looking for alternative stuff, and that one cassava flour I've seen the most of recently, and like monk fruit pancakes or like sweetened with monk fruit. That's what it is.
Do you have people? This is the thing that I would hate about working in a place like that. Is I never want to work at a place that sells expensive things, like things that cost more than the average, because every single fucking day do you have somebody that comes in there and then when they go to pay for it, like, Jesus Christ, what the hell? What's going on here? Like, get all fucking indignant about it.
Yeah.
Is that the worst?
Coming back though?
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Once a week, the same guy comes and says, Jesus, what's this? $7? What the fuck?
Yeah. One time I was mystery shopping Whole Foods, and I would just like come up with random things, just like off the top of my head. I would just, find something to ask about. And so one day I walked up to this guy and I was like, do you have any matches? And he was like, yeah. And he walks me over and he looks at him and he points at him and he's like, man, that's like really expensive. He pointed at him and just said that. I was like, yeah, that's outrageous. He's like, I wouldn't pay that price at all. I was like, yeah, I'm probably going to go somewhere else, actually.
That fucking rock.
It was like $5 for like, matchsticks that still have the bark on the side of them and shit. Natural.
Because you care.
Matchsticks. They weren't matchsticks, they were matchsticks.
I bought some of those last year. They were really good, if you remember, when we were doing the grilling chills. Bought them big fat matches that you just light up
those
and
are good.
Kindling. Those things are fresh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you for calling, Nicole. That was very fun.
Yeah, of course. I'm so glad. It's the first time calling in, but I'll definitely call in again. I got lots of stories. So, it was awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we'll see you in Boston. Let us know. Let us reach out and we'll meet up.
Hell yeah.
I definitely will. Oh, thanks so much.
We're going to play some tunes,
right, peace out,
folks. We're going to play some songs for a few minutes.
Yeah, we're going to take a mini break here.
We're going to take a little break and bake. Like
I gave you some music to play.
I got it.
One
Give
of
me
our
2.5 seconds.
dedicated listeners here. I was trying to fill time.
Give me fucking 2.5 seconds,
Jeez
Brad.
Louise.
2.5.
Cheese.
Vegan Cincinnati chili, baby. I know where you can get it.
What?
Somebody's asking about vegan Cincinnati.
Yeah, I already jumped in there. My opinion, the best way to make Cincinnati chili is to just get the packet from Kroger's.
Yeah, shit in your pants. I hate that stuff.
It doesn't make you shit your pants.
I know, but it's
it makes
gross.
you strong.
We ready to go?
Yeah.
Oh, smart Brian. Doing the smart thing again.
He's such a smart guy.
Hear it?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Street Fight Radio. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. There is only a few people in the queue, so if you want to do a late call in, I think you might get in. The number is 614-655-3887. We are still taking your calls. My name is Brett Payne. My co-host here is Brian Quimby. You know us as Street Fight Radio. That music you just heard was from Street Fight listeners' Party Box. You can find them at partybox.bandcamp.com if you want to buy that album and support the music you hear on Street Fight Radio. And if you want to submit your own, you can do that by sending an email to streetfightradio@gmail.com. There's also a contact page on our website, streetfightradio.com. And if you want even more content beyond what we do and you want to help Brian and I move into bigger and better endeavors, hire more people, and make this thing bigger so that we can spread this mess across the U.S., please consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/streetfightradio, where you get access to bonus audio, bonus video, our digital versions of our zine, and so many other amazing things. Let's do this. Let's take some calls.
Hey, before we take calls, I got a few things I gotta say.
Okay.
Hey, happy Trans Day of Visibility to everybody who is trans in our audience. I think we should say that, right? We have a lot of people who are trans, and be visible. It's great. Or don't be visible if you don't want to, but be visible, okay? Just do whatever you want to is how we feel.
Brian is really trying to respect you as much as he can here.
I'm just Mr. Respect.
He doesn't want to show too much respect if that would disrespect you.
Well, I'm just so weird about any of that stuff, but I think that, like...
No, I understand.
Days like this are kind of important,
sure.
And it's good to let everybody know where we stand.
Oh, it's the battleground. I mean, like, this is like the big argument that we're having with a lot of these people. This is like Ben Shapiro's sticking point. His whole thing is that, and this is what got Jordan Peterson fucking started, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
this stupid ass, like, they just can't get over other people's fucking lives.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have to just not care. Like, well, okay, that's their life, and they're going to make decisions about how they want to live, and unless I interact with them, it doesn't matter at all to me.
No.
You know?
And it doesn't matter really if you like. I remember a big thing in the gay rights.
Oh, jeez.
What?
Sorry, go ahead. A bunch of people took that invitation to call in.
Good, smart.
Yeah.
Good move. Now they're not going to get on.
Well,
what time is it?
Speed round.
We got 1 hour. But I just want to say that, like, I remember early in the gay marriage conversations, not early, but in 2004 when that was a huge battleground, I would have these conversations with, like, older people and boomers. And this is before I was even familiar with anything. But they would say, like, I want them to be able to do it, but I just don't agree with it. And my opinion was always like, well, who cares, like, what you agree with? I don't care what you're comfortable.
Yeah, this isn't your.
Yeah.
We don't. Your opinion actually doesn't matter. I know they're going to ask you, and you're going to pick a representative, but they shouldn't even be making that decision about someone else's life like that.
Correct. So I guess we got a bunch of calls to take.
Let's jump into these
take some
calls.
calls.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Hello. Are we Skellion? I hope this isn't a skeleton. It'll make me sad. Like a person is just calling in, but they turned into a skeleton while they were waiting.
Hey, skeleton, if you can, help let us in on the treasure that you're guarding. You don't have to follow the rules of whatever being put a hex on you, your eternal soul.
Clacking teeth.
Yeah, get us
those clacking teeth.
Get us a little bit of that gold that you're fucking protecting there, right?
Yeah, we need gold, Skelly. We need gold. All right, well I guess
unfortunately, someone
gone, skeleton.
died live.
You're out of here.
Someone died live on air. It's unfortunate, but we must.
Happens
continue
every
on.
week, at least once.
Thanks for calling Street Fight Radio. Who are we talking to?
Hey guys, it's Eugene Debs. How you doing?
What's up, Eugene Debs? How are you feeling today?
Oh, I'm tired and frustrated. Perfectly honest. Did you guys get all that snow that we got?
No, we got a tiny little bit of snow.
Man, we got like 6 inches of snow. When I woke up to that, man, that shit just depressed the hell out of me, man. I was just
the little bit we got killed me. We were supposed to go out and do all this outside type bullshit with my kid, and I'm like, I'm not gonna make my daughter go playing around in a fucking creek when it's 36 degrees outside.
Yeah, I mean it's I mean I have 3 kids, and we actually did hand, foot, mouth like ravage my household the past like week and a half. And so we just been holed up in the house, and it was like it was like 50 something yesterday, but it was raining. Then you wake up today, and there's a ton of snow on the ground, and like I'm ready for the winter to be over.
Yeah.
Like I need to get the fuck outside. It's been pretty.
But in Ohio,
shitty.
I mean, March is no guarantee. I mean, it snowed in April last year.
April's no guarantee.
Right.
Yeah, I think May. My wife was just saying the same stuff you are today, complaining, and I kind of was talking to her, and I said, you don't get to be mad until May. If it's still cold in May, then you're mad. But everywhere, it looks like everywhere is going to be warmer next week. At least I don't know where you could be in Alaska. So.
I'm gonna be down here. I'm in Cleveland, but I'm gonna be down your guys' way on Wednesday. It's gonna be a little bit warmer down there than it is up here, and I'm looking forward to like some sunshine and mid 60s. I gotta be honest with you though, like I would just be the person who like would rep like, oh yeah, Ohio's great, Ohio gets shit on so much that like you feel like you have to stick up for it and all that kind of stuff. But like now, like if I didn't have like attachments here, my ass would be gone. Like if I were you two, my ass would be fuck out of here, man.
Well, we have attachments. The unfortunate thing is that me and Brett actually, I mean, I think we've talked about this before. If we went somewhere else, we could probably make more money. But let me get some. If we went somewhere else, we could probably make more money. But our friends and family are all here too. It's kind of one of the like. Being able to just pick up and leave would be great, but, my kid doesn't want to go anywhere. She's 14. Our wives both love it here. We come from very family-oriented folks that are never going to let us leave this fucking hellhole.
I know, it's awful. Dude, did Brett just get up and, like, I'm watching on the live stream, too. Did Brett just get up and walk across the room to get the candy?
Yeah, we did just remember we have candy.
We got Brian brought sweet tart jelly beans this week.
But I love that you have those like little things that you do to like keep yourself like in check or whatever, where you like keep that shit like across the room, so like you have to like make yourself work to get it. That's a good ass idea.
It does help.
I was giving you
it keeps you more like cognizant of what you're actually eating.
Yeah, for sure. I completely lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
It
I
happens to
have
the best of us.
called in today. Yeah, absolutely. I called in today to give you, tell you guys my one of my most embarrassing drunk stories.
Okay.
I love it.
I like this.
Okay. Yeah. So, oh god, this one I lived in Pittsburgh, so I was probably 22, 23. It's probably like 11, 12 years ago. I went through like a cocaine phase of my life. All right, and I was living in some shitty ass little apartment, and I went to I was gonna go get a movie from Blockbuster. That's how long ago this was. I was gonna go rent a movie from a Blockbuster. All right, and before I went there, I swung by and grabbed like a diener off of my dude. All right. And he was in a hurry, so like I didn't do any of it while I was at his place. So I had it in my pocket, and I pull up into the Blockbuster parking lot, and I had a CD case that I just poured out a couple lines on, and did a couple lines, and go back into the store and do my thing, get a movie or whatever.
All right.
Go ahead.
Was it that hard? That's something that would be like, it would be a terrible, like it would be so hard to make a decision after that.
Oh, okay. I mean, decision. Okay, you were on the right track. You were 100% on the right track, because my decision-making process is obviously very fucked up at this point, as you point out, and I'm gonna have some hard decisions to make here in a couple minutes. So I go in, and I decisions like what movie I'm gonna watch are always hard. So I'm sure it would take me much longer than it should have in there. And you know the thing about it too is like I'm sure like after like doing a couple lines, like I'm like running around that store all panic, like, and people are already like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? Which is going to be important later. So I'm like, I go up to the counter, and I'm probably fucking twitching and shit like that, and I get my movie, and I go back out to my car, and I realize I locked my keys in my car. All right?
No.
Which normally you would just, like, I don't know, you call the cops or whatever, and they'll come by with a little jimmy and, like, get it open for you. But I can't, because my seat case with a line is still sitting on the fucking passenger fucking side of the car.
Right.
And to make it worse, the fucking dome light's on, so you can see it like loud and
it's like a museum.
You can just see it.
It's like a museum exhibition.
Yes.
It's on display. It's like in a glass case. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And like anybody that you call over to like help you with the car is immediately going to see that.
Right. So I'm sitting there in this parking lot, in this well-lit parking lot, all right? And like, so I start freaking out, and I'm always fucking yacked up. So like, I don't know what the hell to do, right? So I'm like, I decide I'm just gonna break the fucking window to like
bold move,
get into my car, right?
Bold move.
Yeah. Well, what else am I gonna do, right? And I mean, it's a shitty car anyway. So I go find like the biggest piece of like broken sidewalk I can find, right?
Okay.
And then I realize I'm like, oh shit, people in the Blockbuster are gonna want to know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I run back into the Blockbuster, and I'm like probably just like bug-eyed.
Sweating bullets.
I have this piece of cement in my this fucking piece of cement in my hand, and I'm like, all right. So you guys know that's my car right there. I just rented a movie. I locked my car. I'm gonna break my window to get in. And the guy at the counter is like, okay. Like, all right. Go back out there. And I'm not like a particularly strong person, all right? So I like throwing this concrete at my fucking window and like not breaking it. All right, and it's like dude was like chucking it at it, picking it up, chucking at it, picking it up, chucking it at it, over and over again, and like it's just not breaking. All right, because like these windows are designed to not break.
You
know
need
what
to
I mean?
get a piece of porcelain. Would do the whole trick for you. That's what we used to do when we rudely busted people's windows out as they slept for no reason.
What did you do? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Back when we were kids, we used to get we used to go buy spark plugs and chip the porcelain off and throw it at car windows at night, like ride our bikes by and just toss it. But like that, I don't recommend that. I can't believe you're busting your car window out though.
A good friend of mine, we went to this like senior party after we all graduated. It was like in the middle of a cornfield, and it was a situation where like everyone's tripping and there was a keg and everything. And this friend of mine locked her keys in her car, and she's like, well, there's no way in hell I'm calling anybody out here. So we had to figure it out. And then just watching people I know like wrap a blanket around their hand and try to punch a fucking window like they have actually have the strength to break a window.
Dude, that injured Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg fucking thought he was badass, right? Back in wrestling days, because they booked him like a badass.
Yeah.
And he had this whole storyline where he was supposed to get arrested by the police for something. And he had like a hammer. And he just was like, I'll break the window my fucking self. And he goes to try to break the window, and it injured him for a long time because it cut the shit out of the guy's fucking hand. I also knew a guy that busted out my vice principal's window and fucked his whole hand.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we found a hammer on the road. We found a hammer in the road on the way to school, and we're like, Lily, I dare you to fucking bust out Miss Dorman's window. And he did. I didn't think he was going to do it. They brought me to the office. They cried, and she was like, brought me in the office. She's the meanest principal. She was so mean. She was the disciplinarian. And she called me in the office. She starts crying, and she says this to me. My daughter had to ride to soccer practice on broken glass yesterday because of whoever did this. Who do you think did it? And I was like, I didn't see nothing.
You're a bad parent. You're a terrible parent, lady.
I just was like, I didn't see anything. I didn't snitch. They already had it.
Shop back. That's on you.
You fucking break my glass out, I'm just going to knock it out of the way and clean my seat off.
I know. Who hasn't had a window busted out?
Yeah, well, like, honey, you have to sit on that glass that these terrible people put on your seat.
It was. I did feel bad for her.
Yeah, I mean, it's not nice. It would suck to come out to that.
Yeah. You're an asshole, though, dude. Listen. If somebody's an asshole and something bad happens to them, I always see that as like justice.
Another thing coming.
Here's what happened. You know, even if they're in the right. You know, a fireman. When fireman treated me like an asshole and he got his window busted out, I ain't gonna fucking cry for him.
Sure.
You know, he goes to a bar, gets in a fight, gets his window busted out. It's like shit. Fuck him. You know, doctor. I don't give a shit.
You guys want to hear something really funny?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my wife, who she's kind of a big normie, just I'm sitting in the basement here, I'm like playing video games, talking to you guys, and she just poked her head in, like, what the fuck are you two? About that, I'm like, my fucking radio friends. And she was like, well, she rolled her eyes and walked back upstairs.
So I gotta know, did you end up breaking the window?
Yeah, so it was what you guys were talking about with I ended up I don't know why, maybe I like put some hairline cracks in it because you'd think that like me throwing it would be more forceful, but I ended up like just kind of like wrapping my shirt around my hand and like taking the rock and like just like smashing it, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like just directly smashing it.
Yep.
And that's how I ended up breaking it. And of course I cut myself up in the process of that, and it sucked, and I was bleeding. And then I jumped in my car, and I sped away, and like I didn't, then of course I couldn't afford to fucking fix that window, so I just had a broken ass window the entire goddamn time.
You should be a
know?
dare officer. You should be our dare officers in schools. You should go to schools and tell all the kids about this story, and that will make them think twice.
Well, I have a bunch. I mean, like puking all over girls. Like, I mean, the dad with the duster. I have all types of fucking stories that'll keep girls. Keep people away from doing drugs. I don't know. I mean, I think mainly I had a good time. But Brian, you talking about wrestling, that reminds me. I'm sorry for teasing you about wrestling on Twitter, and I definitely learned my lesson. My lesson there.
Look, I for me, it's like, just in my opinion, I know that the things I like are dumb or whatever, so it doesn't necessarily ever bother me when people say, "Oh, you like wrestling," because I'll fucking make fun of you for watching cartoons. You know what I mean? Like, it's all fair game.
100%. It was like, it's not just you. Like, I run into all the time on the internet. Like, you know, like I get too comfortable with people. You know what I mean? Like, it's my friends. I like we tease each other. You know what I mean? They see somebody and they're like, and then like it's like, well, I was just kidding, people. It's cool. Like, trust me, whatever you're doing with your time is no more dumb than what I'm doing with my time. I promise you.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, a lot of people don't get tone a lot of times, and
no, I agree. I come from the same place. Everything is stupid. I mean, everything is stupid. In its own
me and
way.
Brett bust each other's balls all the time, but like, it's. I don't think people understand that as much online as they used to understand it, because it is a different culture, and busting beans is just. It's not in style anymore. It still is for a certain type of dude, but it's just not what people like to do. You know, I don't mind it. I don't care. Yeah. I love getting. I mean, you know, as long as it's fun and nice and not mean spirited. People making fun of me is half of the goddamn show. It's fun. You know, people making fun of me for the yellow shirt. Okay. All right, Eugene, we gotta go. We gotta get the rest of these callers in.
Yeah, I got you, man. I'll talk to you about it.
Have a good night, buddy.
You know what? I actually saw a tweet this week. Someone was at the store.
Oh, I saw it. They were at TJ Maxx.
They were at TJ Maxx, and they saw someone lift up a yellow shirt and say to whoever they were shopping with, they yelled "Street Fight" out loud, but we didn't get any follow-up.
Yeah. Well, they probably shouldn't have bought the shirt. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah, yellow can look good.
Well, yellow is the worst color in the world. Don't ever wear yellow. People will yell at you from their trucks.
If you're a Brian.
I mean, whatever. If you don't mind getting made fun of, then I'm cool with you wearing yellow. But you just know everybody's looking at you like, look at this.
Daniel out of Austin, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, what's up? How are you?
You did your homework. You were, like, ready for this.
Yeah. You wear yellow shirts?
I've been on before, and I talked way too much, and I'm sorry about that.
No problem. But we got to do speed round now. I'm getting talkative, and Brett's...
No problem.
I
just wanted to comment on something I heard on the podcast y'all put out, where Brian was talking about the punk scene in Austin and how no one moshes.
Well, no, that's a guess because
okay.
That's
true. That's like, I was going to say it's half true.
Yeah, it's a guess because a lot of bands that come out of Texas don't like moshing. It seems like to us.
Okay, so like I was going to comment on kind of the general shittiness that I have experienced in the punk scene here, because I love punk, but holy shit, there are some just assholes in the punk scene. There's major fucking douchebags.
Yeah,
it breeds them.
It attracts angry people, and like you can't really control what people are angry about or what their motivations are.
Oh yeah, and a lot of them are kind of like the Boston hardcore, where they will literally beat up someone for smoking a joint.
Oh god.
And it's fucking disturbing, and it alienates everyone.
Yeah, that's not fun at all.
No. I mean, like a lot of them are like, they also look down on their fans too. Like, unless you're in a band, they hate you, and it's just like, holy shit, you guys are pieces of shit, dude.
Yeah, that's a bad scene.
Jeez, yeah. I mean, people do mosh in Austin?
Oh yeah, well, okay. So some of my favorite shows before I left the scene, I call it like the Texas low mosh, where everyone would get really low and start skanking.
That's cool though.
Yeah,
it's just
I
I think
it.
Ohio.
It made me think I could dance.
I think Ohio, to me, is old school. Like, we're just uncool in a way. And we mosh because that's what you've always done. And that change that's happened in hipper places where people aren't moshing, like, it's not here yet. And it may never get here. We mosh. It's like what we do at concerts with loud guitars.
Yeah,
basically.
that's the chance you get to be aggressive like that. There's no other time that I get shoved to the ground in my life.
Yeah. It's fun too.
It's the best.
This idea that it's like horror, like that's the thing that makes me nuts. Is like, I stand on stage, and in stand-up comedy, your audience is supposed to be very nice and quiet and laugh only when they're supposed to. And me and Brett, it took us a year of touring, maybe a year and a half of touring, to get where we are now, where the crowd is having fun. It's raucous, it's loud, it's crazy, and we wanted that, and it took so long to get there. I can't imagine squashing something that the audience is doing while they're doing it. Like, I feel as though I don't get to decide what my audience does when I'm on stage. My job is to direct it. My job is to make the night for the people. And that's like what mine and Brett's jobs are. If they started moshing, I'd be like, this is fucking very cool.
Yeah, I love
we
it.
would love it.
Let's keep this up.
Yeah, but like,
you mean to say stuff?
I just think yelling at the audience for it, like, that's the thing that, irritates me. It's the, it's this Mars Volta thing where they just have an expectation of how their crowd is supposed to act.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
I hate that. I think it sucks.
You got to get rid of your attachment to expectations. It will only lead to disappointment every time.
It's the same thing with stand-up comedy, though, right? How many nights did we go watch a guy go on stage and be aggressively unfunny and then mad at the audience for not participating in the thing that he was up there doing? Like, it just happens 3 times a night on a fucking open mic night.
Yeah.
And you don't get to make that fucking decision. Your job is to make the vibe. And if you don't want people to mosh, then I guess you should, especially if you don't want rednecks in Ohio to mosh, I guess you should just play quiet-ass music.
Yeah.
Because they won't do it then,
Totally. I mean, I think, like, a lot of it here comes from, like, there's just these weird kind of scenes where they want everything to be very serious and very sullen and very, they don't want anyone to have a good time. Like, they just want to do the performance and have people be, that's interesting. Oh, yes, very thought-provoking.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of, that is like a right-winger cowboy type vibe outlook to take towards, punk. It definitely comes in that realm, too, where people just get way too into it and build it up to like be something that it's not.
Just ruining it.
What's that?
Oh, I was just saying that the straight edge shit here in Austin is just like ruining punk. Because like a lot of them are like, they take their whole shit very seriously and they really think that they're changing the world when they're just not. And I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I know people who like are ex-heroin addicts and they use straight edge to better their lives, and I'm like, good for you. But it turns into a whole different thing when they're just like, if I see one dude smoking a joint out in the crowd, I'm gonna go off stage and kick his ass.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
Okay, fine. I'm not going to your stupid concert.
Yeah.
That's crazy that it's picking back up in Texas. That's odd. I hadn't heard anything about straight edge picking back up. I thought it was kind of over because it is like
it's a bunch of upper middle class white kids. Honestly, right. That's what it is.
And all those guys that and all those straight edge guys all ended up drinking. And not every single one of them, but in the end. Like a lot of the bands.
Oh, it's so funny.
What was it? Earth Crisis. Were they a straight edge? I think Earth Crisis were a straight edge band. And I went to a concert where they opened, and the guy was walking around in the audience with a fucking holding just a pitcher of beer and drinking out of it. And it was just like, oh God, just don't make any.
They are. You're right.
Yeah, I'm not the kind of guy that makes long-term proclamations or decides how other people should live their life. And I think it's crazy to do. I think it sucks. You know, what is alcohol and drugs?
Well, I was gonna say what I think about is good. With our audience, I like that we have potheads, we have drunks, and we also have straight edge. Like we have all three a unity at our shows. So, you know, that's what you need.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say another thing. I'm out of weed right now, so I hope one of y'all takes a dab. So I at least know someone's getting high.
Brad's very high. He's been dabbing the whole show.
I can do another one for you. I ran out of butane.
As long as I know someone's high.
I'm high too. We're both high. I'm just not that high. You know.
You've inspired me to get higher.
Yeah. Well, thanks for calling in. I'm real.
Thanks, comrades.
I love to hear about other scenes too. I really think that's cool. Even though it sucks.
I'm moving from Austin at some point. I hate the city.
I can't wait to get down there. We plan to go there this year, and I'm just
I'll tell you what,
excited.
You're not going to find food better anywhere else that you go. To be honest, just for real.
That sounds. I can't wait to see y'all.
Yeah, we'll be there this year. Don't worry. We're already working on it. Well, have a good night.
How can I find out the date?
We'll say it on the show. It's not going to happen until at least June, because we have this tour booked now that we're leaving on Tuesday, and then we're going to the Southwest.
Same Street Fight channel, same Street Fight time.
But I do know that we plan to go to, next is in May, we're going to Vegas, and that area around there. And then Texas is a 3-date tour, so I think we're looking at June, maybe? But I don't know yet. I can't make any promises.
Hell, I'm excited. That sounds great.
I think my wife is looking into booking a 3-date tour in June, and that's either going to be Florida or Texas. So who knows? I'd hate to go to Florida in June, but that's just the way the world works.
It rains on constantly.
Yeah. Well, have a good night. Thanks for calling in.
You too.
Let's get these calls.
Thanks so much.
Let's get this bread.
Maybe we can do it. You might get cut off, but let's keep them rolling. Thanks for calling Street Fight Radio. Who are we talking to?
Hey, is this me?
This is you. Who's this?
That's you.
Yeah. David from Washington State, by way of originally New Jersey. I'm not going to be claiming that I'm a Washingtonian, but I'm living here now.
It's a wonderful place. What's going on tonight?
Yeah. Not much. I just wanted to call in and kind of see if I can give you a scoop on my perspective from working in the weed industry in Washington.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm working these days. My job is tight. I got nothing to complain about from like my actual job. I'm like on a organic outdoor farm. Like we don't spray plants with anything. I'm cool with my bosses, but the industry here is like really interesting. The fact that it like even functions at all, and like you don't really like see the dirtiness like when you go into like the stores of like how kind of just messed up and hodgepodge it is, and how much like Washington State fucked the duck on like just drumming up the initial law that like like they were making an industry and had the shot of like spelling out exactly how business was supposed to operate from the outset, and just like it doesn't make a lick of sense. Like it's a dumpster fire essentially. I mean, to begin with, like just as a microcosm of like kind of how capitalism works, when people were getting the licenses to be able to start a cannabis business in the state, like right as it launched, it was, first of all, it was a lottery system, so you got lotteryism there, and then if you got picked by the lottery, you just like paid to be a tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 producer or processor, or producer, sorry.
Is this did Adam Smith write about this? Is this what Adam Smith was writing about?
Is that common sense?
yeah. I think he slipped that in there, that like, hey, give me a $5 and, you could just get a little bit extra. That's the invisible hand is the one that slips some money through the back door, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's if you're tier 1, you get, I think it's 2,500 square feet of canopy space that you can grow, and if you're tier 3, it's 30,000 square feet.
Okay.
So like orders of magnitude larger of just what you're legally allowed to grow. So like when you see like Global X fucking like big deal weed companies, they're not only tier 3s, but they're at this point several tier 3s. So like they can just have fields and fields of weed, or you know, houses and warehouses of weed growing, where like the folks I work for, it's a tier 2, so we got 10,000 square feet of space. But like that's like not a lot at all. And as far as like trying to do business and compete, like there's just it's a miracle that like anyone makes it by with like competition split, you know, that drastically.
It's I mean, what they come up with is completely arbitrary. Like, basically, they tasked a bunch of fucking eggheads and bean counters with coming up with a system. And so they just had to arbitrarily make up tier systems. There's no reason to treat a fucking flower that comes out of the ground like this at all.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's just, I mean, they didn't talk to anybody who knows shit about weed. I mean, like, none of the pesticides there's a big list. Like, I've looked at it. I'm talking like 29 PDF pages large of different branded sorts of pesticides and herbicides and all that shit that you can use legally in the state. Washington State didn't do any testing to see if those could be smoked, you know, like those are all food pesticides and shit, you know, like, so they didn't even think about the fact that like people are going to be smoking this stuff, you know, like it's totally an abstraction how they conceived of it, and like the idea of, you know, people actually smoking weed was too scary to even consider it, to like drum up the plants. I mean, like,
you're right, and that's when you have people that aren't experienced with it, that don't actually know what's going to happen with it, you know, then they don't even bother to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, now, like, we already have to do, like, laboratory testing for potency and for mold and all this shit, but pesticide testing is not mandatory, and there's, like, something of some dust being kicked up now because, like, a bunch of shit was independently tested, and, like, a lot of it came back as testing for pesticides when the products weren't marked as having any pesticides used on them. So folks don't know what the fuck they're buying and could be smoking like straight up poison. Like these pesticides, they fuck you up. They stay in your system for a long time, and like you know,
that's
not ideal to be smoking. I don't know, the data is hosted, like, the company that was operating it had, like, the Washington State security back end of it was so broken that the company was operating at a $50,000 a month deficit, so they had to back out of their contract because they were going to fucking go under. So the Washington State Liquor Control Board, which also deals with cannabis, then had to scramble to get another company, and it's literally like the worst in the business. That's like been hacked a bunch of times, and like personal information's gotten out, like delivery information was hacked since Washington State like hired these folks, and like so people would know where weed was going to be in folks' cars as it was being delivered, or vans or whatever.
Yeah.
Like how much, at what time they were leaving, who was driving it, what the license plate on the car was, what the VIN number on the car was, like every detail you would want if you wanted to boost somebody in their van and get them to steal a bunch of fucking weed. hundreds of thousands of those documents were hacked, and no one was alerted until like after the date range of those deliveries was over. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot to get into, but we have to take a few more calls here, and I appreciate you calling.
Yeah,
in
I'm hopped up on these calls and fucking. I can go on about this all night. I don't mean to drone on, but I just wanted to get something in there if I could, just to at least point people in the direction of like looking into.
Yeah, no, it's
I don't know what goes into the legal weed industry that we're all knowing of.
Yeah, we have a bunch of pothies that listen to this thing, so it's important for them to be educated.
Yeah.
Pothies.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate y'all taking my call. Have a good rest of your night.
You too.
All right, peace.
Yep.
Oh.
All right. Who's next on the list? We're taking your calls. I feel like I'm working at the call center a little bit. I always do. Because the system that we use, Call-In Studio, is like very 2002. It's like right when I got in the workplace. Like I feel like this is what I sat in front of at my call center job, and they're
it's so 2000 and late, right?
You put it right.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly what the words I was looking for.
You were trying to get to 2000 and late there.
Yeah, this is 2000 and late. This shit is 2000 and late. All right, next call. We're on the request line. Hello. How's it going? What's up?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hey, who's this?
You're talking to Ship Roll.
What's up, Ship Roll? What's up? Hey, did you hear last week somebody called in and got ship rolled?
Yes, I did. That was crazy to hear about.
Yeah, we're still going in. We're still going to do a deep dive into that. We have a pin in that, but that organization is something we want to do more investigations into.
Are you guys signed up for the conference? Are you guys going to the 2019 People Helping People Conference, Las Vegas?
I wanted to, but we're going to Las Vegas like next month, so I don't want to go there twice. I would love to go.
I guess you don't want to succeed, and you're not going to make it in this company.
Dude, I really want to go to it really bad. Like, I would totally go to this thing. I just don't know if it's the best use of our resources.
Yeah, I've been looking up employee reviews for people who have worked at the company, I've come across quite a few ones that are pretty crazy. I kind of wanted to read a portion of one on the air.
Yeah, please do.
You.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, let's see. Here we go. This is a marketing director, current employee from San Diego. So this guy says, ask any Fortune 500 executive how important network marketing is. And then, if you want to compare the advice from someone making what? Paycheck to paycheck to people making minimum $10K a month? Sorry to say, your life will only consist of paying bills and dying. No one said anything about this being easy. Even the Bible says it plainly. You reap what you sow, so if you're not coachable in alignment with the mentors, try to help you succeed, or expect that rent check from your employer. You're either going to work for someone that risks everything, or you're going to be part of a team that risks everything and makes no excuses.
Yeah, man.
You
God
are
gave me
really
this
going
job.
to take advice from quitters? These people couldn't cut it, and personally, I'm glad they quit, because why in the world would you invest money with someone who can't even stick to something for the long run? And he lists the pros as being unlimited income and the cons as being none.
Doug, you know what, man? That's Brett's famous, you write your own paycheck.
Write your own
line.
paycheck.
Yeah, it's just write your own
You know,
paycheck.
I mean, a lot of folks around here are making around $8 an hour, but potentially you could make $1,000 an hour. If you sold something every second that you were here, you would be a fucking millionaire by the end of the year. So I'm just going to let you sit with that kind of power, you know? You got to know what you write your own paycheck. Yeah. Whatever you want, you can make it happen.
I like the part where he says that living life is about paying bills and dying or something.
Yeah. Well, no, that's if you don't get with the program, right?
Oh.
I think it was like you get a miserable existence of just paying bills and dying. But with the program, you unlock all these like special abilities. Fucking love. I'm inspired. I'm very inspired.
Brett's gonna become a people helping people.
Yeah,
guy.
I'm inspired.
Yeah.
This guy, you know, I guess, you know, God wrote about this 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
He wrote a little story about a guy that wants to help people. His name was Jesus, and now he's back.
Yeah.
It's called life insurance, though. It's not called religion, and it's not called like, it's not like a new type of way of being. It's just life insurance.
It's just such a good name. It's a really good name. You got to give them credit for the good name of it. And
that's
their
like something
strategy, dude. Look, their strategy is to fucking sneak you in, you know? Like, their strategy is to tell you that there's something that they really need to talk about, get you to their house thinking they're gonna be like, I think I'm gonna get a divorce, but instead they're yelling
right
about people helping people. I love the whole thing.
Like, hypothetically, if you were to get life insurance, would you be willing to pay $26 a month? And if I took your social security number, could I verify that information?
Well, shit, Pro, thanks for calling. We got to get these callers. We're lightning round.
I loved it.
Fucking great.
I fucking loved that.
We loved meeting you, too.
All right, peace out, guys.
Peace out, dude.
Yeah.
What do we got left here? How many?
We got 3.
Oh.
We can do it.
Whoosh.
We got 19 minutes.
19 minutes to
19
get 3
minutes
done.
to get 3 done.
All right.
The boss is on our ass.
I'm going to be good.
Says we can't get overtime. Says if we get overtime, we're not going to have a job.
And we're also going on tour, so this is kind of an end the show and then go into a black hole for 2 weeks.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Hello.
Another skeleton from the deeps.
This isn't a skeleton. They're going to be like, hey, what the... Here in a second. You know? I feel so good. Hello, who's this?
For a second there, I thought you were living flesh that had been eaten by rats down to the bones.
Hey, this is Rose. I've been a fan for a little while, but yeah, calling you for the first time today. Sorry, there's some issue with like the phone or something. I'm having a little bit of a hard time hearing you, so sorry about that.
Yeah, it's weird. What's going on tonight?
Oh, well, I'm not usually up this late for the streams, but I was working on a school project, and since it's trans visibility, I thought I would call in and represent.
Yay!
Thank you.
Yeah. Glad.
Thank you. We needed a trans person to call in.
Yeah, we just have so much privilege. We don't even have to think about doing stuff like that, right?
That's true, though. Hey, listen, though. This is like a really big, important day that, like, in my life, I heard nothing about it, you know, except for online and stuff like that. And, like, I want people to hear this stuff. Like, I think it's fucking important. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. That's great.
I think I'm glad you called.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I won't take up too much of your time because I know tonight's a very busy night. But I mainly wanted to call just to say how much I appreciate you guys and your show because you've been very supportive of the trans community from all the episodes that I've heard. And that's really, really important. Like, it's great that obviously within our own community we have a lot of support, but I love hearing from dudes like you who are just like straight, pretty masculine guys, that you do still support the trans community, because that's honestly a little hard to find.
Yeah, well, I think for us it's like this, there's a thing with us that's like want to amplify people and understand things, but like also I want everybody that listens to this show to feel like I don't want anybody to ever listen to this show and feel bad unless they're bad. You know, and I you know, from very early on, there's something about this show from very early on that people have always felt sort of comfortable with that and have liked that it's two dumb idiot Midwestern dads that are inclusive. But I want everybody to be comfortable, and I have been fairly encouraged. Trans people are more visible now than even a year ago.
I think.
And, absolutely.
And like I've talked about this on the show. Amber, she was somebody on Twitter who transitioned on Twitter in like 2012, and I watched the whole thing happen, and it just really like it made me want it like made me want to make life better for trans people, because it just
that's great.
We all totally forget, like we all feel like we win all the battles, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's all these different battles, and when you finish that battle, I just remember gay marriage in 2004 seemed like something that might not happen. We were like fighting for it, you know? And like once it felt like to me at that time, once that was done, we were done. And then to see this thing that's been happening, and it's like, God, we are fucking in the dark ages about trans issues, you know? So I think it's brave.
Yeah.
I think you're brave, and I'm
thank you.
Now you're laughing at me, but I do think like I fucking never did anything that like put me that like people would just be like, I hate this person on sight. Like I've never had that sort of thing, and like I do think like the more people that are visible, you're being visible in a time where it's like still not easy to be visible.
I don't know. Every trans person, no matter what their background is, like even obviously economics and race and all these things do play a part in it, but every trans person has to go through so many challenges. I know for myself, like when I decided to transition, I really had to be okay with the idea that that everyone would leave me, that like my family would abandon me, and that didn't happen. Fortunately, people have been quite supportive, but I had to be ready for that because that is the situation for a lot of people.
Yeah, I the way that I feel about it, and I think Brian, that kind of gets it too, which is it's kind of hard amongst like, you know, regular ass dude ass guys, but I really am not concerned with like letting people know how open and accepting I am as like some sort of positive attribute about myself. I'm really down to the core of just like acceptance of people for who they are and everything. And so it is like, it, in a way it can be challenging because like, you know, we want to do stuff, but we don't want to feel like we're just like, you know, the way that celebrities and the way that a lot of people try to stand up for these causes to get like brownie points or to look like a good ally and stuff. And, for us, I feel like I am surprised a lot of times at the amount of listeners that we have that are trans, because, you know, Brian and I represent a category of people that have dominated like talk radio since the inception of it. So in podcasting and with like the openness of the internet, like you can have, there's so many outlets for that, for other voices to be heard. And I definitely use podcasts to listen to those voices as well. So, you know, we could just shut it down and be like, we could make a bunch of, stupid jokes and try to be ironically transphobic or homophobic or all of these things. And it's just nothing that it just doesn't feel right to either of us. You know, Brian and I are like, I think we're kind of selfish in a way where we kind of think like that kind of shuts off of a portion of the audience though. Right? Like if we start making fun of trans people, then they won't like our show, right?
Well, then they won't feel good. Like,
right? Imagine, they're not going to buy our t-shirts.
Right. And imagine, but really, like the thing that really gets me, and this wasn't the same, this hasn't always been the same with me, but with this show, with Street Fight in particular, picturing somebody listening to my show and me making them feel bad, like really bums me out. Like even, you know, there was very early on in our kind of run, there was a show we did that somebody felt very, they just didn't like that we liked wrestling. And it was a completely like, it was kind of a thing where we couldn't win. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, well, I like it, so I don't really know what you want me to say. And they didn't like it.
To them, it represented homophobia and a lot of other problematic issues.
But it made me feel, I was like, I don't want people to feel that way when they hear my show. So I've always kind of, I also want my audience to not just be a bunch of white dudes. Like that's like something for me that's like I mean I like that, but like I used to go to all these metal shows and it was just a bunch of like stinky dudes, and I'm like, well, I'm not like really shooting for that for an audience. You know?
Yeah, and I'll say that like you guys talk about learning more about trans people and learning to accept trans people, I have learned to accept wrestling.
Oh, that's great.
I think it sounds. I never got it before. I really didn't understand it except for like PlayStation games. But after hearing you guys talk about it a bit, I'm like, okay, yeah, I could see getting into this. It's like, you know, it's like kind of sports and kind of theater.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and
it's never ending. It's a story that's being told forever in perpetuity.
And I'm gonna say you don't have to like it or become a fan. But as long as you can see that aspect of it, I respect the hell out of you for that. Because the problem for me is when I find people that totally shut it off as like just disregard it as like worthless, and they really are missing out, because this is like live performance and live theater that's like a lot of it is improv, and there's there's a psychology that's going on with inside the ring. You know, once you realize that it's scripted, then you have to start thinking like, well, what were the results they wanted to get? You know, like there's so many layers to it intellectually, and it's very easy to pick up on if you're in front of it, you know. And Brian and I have a lot of fun conversations with people that aren't wrestling fans if it's on in front of us. But you know, when someone's just a complete dum-dum that thinks it's worthless, it's like, I mean, I just can't respect you then, you know. Like,
I don't respect anybody.
You have no zest for life if you can't understand why people are stark raving mad for this shit.
Well, that beyond wrestling, with like even without wrestling, like when somebody just completely shuts a thing off, like I'll say shit on the show sometimes where I'm like, I don't like plays. I feel uncomfortable watching people act in front of me. But I don't see that as a positive thing about me. I see that as a negative, ignorant thing about me. And like, I think a lot of people come at stuff with like an elite attitude where like wrestling sucks.
Oh, I totally agree.
And I'm right, and it sucks.
Yeah.
You know?
I can objectively prove that this thing is bad, but like everything is bad.
I just think it's important to even look at yourself as the most unreliable narrator of your life. Like that's what I think of myself.
That's very important.
Like,
it's very
you
important.
You don't know shit. Even when it comes to something like The Big Bang Theory, I'm like, this show fucking sucks. But you know what? Millions of people watch 7 episodes of it a day, so there's probably something there. Right. I would not make it and think it should be gone forever, but what are you gonna do?
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
my philosophy of that kind of stuff is that, you know, I think that we live in a world that is pretty rough on a lot of people, and that if you can find something to like, you should always choose that option. There's no fun in not liking something. So if someone has something that they're really into that I just don't get, I'll listen to them talk about it. I'll try and get into it with them because, like, of course, I want to discover more things.
Yes.
Well, you know what? And, you know, actually, this kind of relates. So I did a podcast with the Downtown Boys. I don't know if you know that band, but they're awesome. And we had a discussion, like a mini discussion about queerness, because they get categorized as like a queer band in like all of their music reviews and stuff, but they actually don't say that at all about themselves. It's just something that's applied. And we're just talking about like, you know, the relevance of that today and kind of using that word and how like it is become like a hashtag for certain types of music and, you know, gender spectrum. You know, even though it has pissed off a whole group of really awful people, it has also like started a lot of conversations that we needed to have and that have broken a lot of the paradigms that came before, you know. So and for myself, talking about things people love, like in my own life, when like the girls started painting their nails, I gave up the resistance of that and was like, well, if all the girls are painting their nails and there's nothing else better to do, then I'm just gonna fucking paint my nails with y'all and have fun, you know. Like I'll do glitter. Yeah. Like I feel, to me, like accessing all of that stuff is just being like a hedonist. It's like getting the most out of life to find the enjoyments of, like, you know, the full spectrum of everything, you know.
You know, I actually really want to bring that up because I remember, I think it was you mentioning on a previous episode that, like, when you were younger, you let, like, I think some girlfriends of yours, like, do some makeup or, yeah, nails or clothes or something like that. And that really stuck out to me. I really liked hearing that, hearing someone just, like, try something out and not be super anxious about it. I like hearing like a pretty masculine dude talk about exploring femininity. I think that's really, really cool. It's not something that people are often willing to do, and especially not admit in public on a radio show.
Yeah. I mean, that was my younger life it was mostly like girls on my block and then my sister. And when they hung out, they wanted to like listen to Shania Twain and do makeup. So like I just had to get with the program, or there was nothing else better to do, you know?
Yeah. I guess that.
And I didn't mind. And like I said, I for me, it's like a selfishness. It's like now I can enjoy musicals, I can enjoy glitter, I can enjoy the color pink, and I get to do I get to do monster trucks as well. Like it's like the best way to approach life, you know, when you
I think that
breaking down those barriers.
Often all it takes for people to really enjoy stuff like that is just like permission, honestly. Like I think a lot of people feel that they're not allowed to enjoy certain things.
You're right. No, you're because as a child too, you are open to all of that, and then adults put opinions in your head and you kind of confuse those as your own opinions. You kind of confuse other people's thoughts and other people's point of view as your own point of view or as like a correct way to be, and it becomes like distorted.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I don't want to keep going too much longer. I did just want to mention I just wanted to mention one last thing because I wanted to mention it earlier. But when you're talking about the celebrities espousing progressive values and stuff like that, a lot of it, I kind of hesitate to criticize it because I don't want to come off as like an anti-SJW person. But a lot of that stuff is kind of hollow, and it doesn't hit home with me. It doesn't really feel genuine. But when I listen to people like you or like some of the other leftist podcasts where it's just regular people that don't really have much stake in being, you know, the most woke person, that's when it really hits home for me because it feels like, you know, a normal person that I can relate to that in some way is understanding what I'm going through or at least supporting it.
Well, thank you for saying that. That I mean, I think it is because we don't like have to. I don't feel like I have to. I don't like come on here to prove anything, and it's not like a commercial. It's a natural part of our being as people.
I mean, I've been on the path of least resistance ever since I left my chaotic fucking household, and so what I've found is that if other people existing doesn't set you off or make you fucking angry, then you've won. Then all of a sudden, the rest of the world isn't a problem to you, you know? I definitely have, like, definitely get bothered by, you know, oppression, injustice, all of these things. But if it's just somebody expressing themselves, that's just no concern of me. That's something that, and you know, like I've always, like I've said, when it comes down to like the arguing with people about, you know, where we spend our money on healthcare and things like that, it just comes down to the better that we can make our citizens and our people feel, the better it's going to be for the rest of us, you know? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the world we're in. Like, if people don't have to struggle, then they're not going to cause problems for the rest of us, you know? That's where we're at.
Yeah. I just have one last thing I wanted to say before I got off the air, because I want to address this with the street fight fans.
Sure.
I'm the person who, a while back, Ryan had his photos shared on a fake QAnon page, like a satirical page.
Yep.
And I commented that Brain Quimble is a true patriot, and people started And people started sharing it and thinking that I was just a genuine idiot.
That was you. Thank you so much. No, I screen capped that and sent it around, and so many people bought it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it for doing the fake news for us. We got so many extra likes and follows that day.
Yeah, so I'm not a genuine idiot. I'm a very ironic idiot.
You're good.
So,
you blur the line.
Yeah.
I like it too. People will
Thanks so
see.
much, guys.
Thanks. Have a good night.
It's so great talking to you. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Peace. All right, we got 2 to go. Do you want to take them? You want to tell them no?
I mean, speed them up. It's midnight. We're
I'm
over
going to set a
3
timer.
hours.
I'm going to set a timer.
We're over
How much
3
you want to give
hours
them?
here.
How much you want to give
let
them?
them go. Get
5
them
minutes
here.
each?
Let's just get
I'm
them on
going to set
here.
a stopwatch
Just
on
answer
you.
the call, and it doesn't matter.
You get a stopwatch
No
on
time.
your ass.
You
On
just
your
answer the call.
motherfucking ass. You
You're
got
pushing
2.
the time
It's
longer.
2. We're going to go on tour, so they're not going to get shows. We better relish this extra 10 minutes. Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
What's
Hello?
up?
Can you hear me better now?
I can hear you, yeah.
Not clearly.
It's a little fuzzy, though. Are you like, is the phone in your mouth?
Are you screaming into the receiver?
No, but hold on a second.
Okay.
Okay.
So we turn your
No,
demo
here.
off.
All right, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Who's this?
This is a guy. I've called in before.
Hey, guy.
Is this the big guy?
No. You're so bad at this.
I know.
At that.
All right, what's up, guy?
Well, you had that guy calling earlier who was talking about the weed farms of the future that they have in Washington State.
Yeah. I was kind of lucid for that.
Well, you know, the whole thing they talk about when they legalize weed is, oh, we're going to have to put all the police dogs to sleep.
They talk about that?
They hang that over our heads? Is that what they're telling people at the bake sale? They're going to put all them German Shepherds right to sleep.
I'm crying. Can they teach them to smell something else, like
You're gonna have
guns
to
or
drown
knives?
all the puppies are going to be drowned that
Well,
day.
no. It's like the perfect future.
No, it's not if it's drowning puppies, man.
No, it is.
No.
That's a bad
In the
idea.
future, everybody's going to go work at the weed factory.
Okay.
And then when you walk out, they'll have all the police dogs to search your fucking lunch pail to make sure you haven't stolen any weed.
Okay. Well, I mean, as long as they're not dead, I think that's okay.
Right.
I don't like it security-wise, but, you know, hey, guy.
if you're doing weed, you should just be able, if you're doing it at the weed factory, you should be able to take some home.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Maybe they won't smell them too much. Well, guy, thank you for calling. That I'm glad they're not killing the dogs.
That is good to know. All right, last call. Thanks for calling Street Fight Radio. Who are we talking to?
A Skelly.
A Skelly for the last call seems like a curse. I bet we get a hex put on our family.
Well, don't say that. Now we have to leave, and we don't want to get hexed.
Last call.
Is a Skelly is a.
We'll make you fall.
Last call. If the last call's a Skelly, then you're gonna be helly happy later on in life.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Oh, we got 2 skeletons. The skeleton. Well, you know, we should get
time right.
Yeah, we should get 1 skeleton a week. We've now gone to 2 skeletons a week, which makes me concerned that the skeleton army is increasing in numbers now.
Well, what if all 10 of them were skeletons? Then we get to go home real early.
We have more underworld skeletons pushing their way up through the ground and calling our radio show each week, and I'm concerned about the rapid increase in their numbers. We are Street Fight Radio. We will be. No, we won't. We're not gonna. We won't be here Wednesday.
We might. We won't be here Wednesday, but we should bring mics on the road probably because we're gone.
We're gonna have to record a show. We will definitely record a show. Maybe we can do a live stream from my phone or something. I can do a YouTube live stream from my phone. It could happen.
Not in a hotel, nasty ass hotel room.
We stay in nice hotels. We don't stay in no fucking undercover business tyrant hotel.
Our rooms don't look nice at all. My underwears are all over the place.
Oh, you sling those things. You always hang your underwear from the lamppost.
Slinging my panties all over
to make it look like it's a party. We are Street Fight Radio. Support us on Patreon and come see us live this week. It's been a while since we did a live show, and this is going to be a lot of fun. Philly, we'll see you on Wednesday night. It's Street Fight. Peace.
So good to hear, Philly. We'll see you on Wednesday night. We got a live show coming up, baby. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, we got.
That was a great call-in show.
Yeah.